Evening, everybody. I need to take a second here and see how the quality options are. Looks like they're there, so good news for me. Sorry, it's not even really a lateness that I need to apologize for. I think it's about like 15 minutes, but I had some tea. I wanted to get ready to go. I wanted to get ready before I went live while I was getting ready to go. And I didn't quite plan the whole day through, so here we go. So before I jump into the game, actually, there's a couple of details from the previous streams that I don't so much want to address so much as it feels like something I should mention. So I was originally quite enthusiastic about the Galaxy at War minigame. I thought there was something really interesting about the scale of the game opening up. I mean, the stakes have always been very high in Mass Effect. You have the Reapers, like the Reapers have been present since game one, and you have been getting closer and closer to them through each game. And of course, but with that in mind, the actual arrival of the Reapers, this thing that's been building up over the previous titles very clearly is, it's I don't really think I need to put in a lot of work to explain why that's a ratcheting up of the stakes. And so with that in mind, I think there is something very interesting on the, because this game is largely about uniting the galaxy against this threat, taking on your role as sort of a figurehead. So not just an operative, but, a figure that the galaxy can unite around is interesting. And I like that it's reinforced by this Galaxy at War element, which was an app in addition, or what originally was an app, now is a website. I thought that was a really cool idea. What I did not appreciate at the time was that the galactic readiness decays. And so, I was really enthusiastic. I would check my timer. I worked out that on a per hour basis, if you do the 1 hour activity and you're consistent about refreshing it, that'll be the fastest rate at which you can get your readiness. So I set my timers and I ran on. Actually, there's this MMO that I've been enjoying. They call it an MMO. The thing is, I've noticed that in different streams, there's been the what counts as a MMO conversation. I don't know if this is just something that's in the air right now. I actually kind of appreciate why this conversation's been happening, because to a certain extent, what we take as MMOs, to me at least, never really lived up to the promise. Like, you think of the MMO, right? And it's like a whole bunch of people all in the same area. You're going on the adventures together. Where in reality, most of the time, what you're actually doing is, you're in an instance, you've got like 5 people, and you're doing your thing. Now that, obviously there's raids, there's larger scale material, but that's maybe a little bit more unique. And, even a raid, right? It's not like there's more people in that than a Battlefield game. And of course, now we're in the age of Battle Royale, wherein, we've got Grand Theft Auto Online, which I don't think normally people would call an MMO, but I sort of wonder what is different about that. Maybe people do consider it an MMO. And then you have, sort of survival crafting games like Ark or Rust or what's one that I actually like? Actually, I kind of like Conan Exiles for a while, and then some bugs got in the way. But these things have a degree of persistence, and while admittedly there's not the same number of people running around like you theoretically could reach with some of these other MMOs, for all intents and purposes, like when you're thinking of your actual everyday experience, these seem a little bit closer to the thing that I think people had in mind when they were being told about them. Anyways, we're not going to solve that today. And I'm trying to remember why I got on this topic. I know I mentioned that there were a couple of other streams. Like, I think it's appropriate that conversation's being had right now, just because I think developments in gaming have been such that what we took for granted in terms of what a certain genre or what a certain type of game would be has maybe been disrupted a little bit. But back to the Galaxy at War thing. Like I like how the Galaxy at War app reinforces the idea of you sort of being a commander and doing more than just your go on a mission and get the bad guy material. I like the fact that the game is sort of putting you in this more commander's role. But again, I was talking about Occupy White Walls. So Occupy White Walls, you get the in-game currency by opening your gallery, and basically every you can reopen it every 30 minutes. And so basically I would have my Occupy White Walls timer every 30 minutes, and every two times I open my gallery and Occupy White Walls, I would open up Galaxy at War and do my activities. So all really neat. And I suppose, because this is something that you don't want to be like, do it once and it's gone forever, I can sort of see why you might want to put a decay inside of it. But I will admit, I was kind of annoyed when I found out that I put so much effort into getting these up to 100, and then I checked it a couple of days later and the galactic readiness regressed. And then I was sort of like, man, you guys have just given me a treadmill. And I really feel like the reason you're doing this is because you're scared I'm going to go away from your game for a few days and I'm never going to come back. And so you've created a penalty for me not logging in and doing my thing. And just personally, I don't like that kind of stuff in games. I like games enough that I don't need to be punished for not showing up. I find games fun enough on their own to come in. So my enthusiasm for Galaxy at War has been tempered a little bit by that, but I still think it's a neat idea. I like the fact that Mass Effect 3, in addition to having a big sort of galaxy that you reveal through the codices and through interacting with the inhabitants, I like the fact that in the third game they've expanded that even more, and you have all of these sort of ancillary little products. You've got the multiplayer. There was the iOS game, which sadly is no longer. I actually did play the iOS game, but I didn't have Mass Effect 3, so I didn't log any progress on it. I didn't even think to log into an EA account because I think I was still a Mac. Was I still a Mac only user? It feels like Mass Effect 3 is recent enough that I would have had a PC. But anyways, I like the idea. Have you played the Dragon Age? I've not. It's huge. It's one that I know people would like me to play. When I first played Dragon Age, I kind of thought it was like a 3D Baldur's Gate. And as much as I like Baldur's Gate, and I know I'm supposed to like Baldur's Gate, I do notice that with revealed preferences, I've never actually gotten to the end of like these Infinity Engine style RPGs. So I was a little cautious on it, but then I saw someone else playing Dragon Age, and it looks like my perception of that was quite wrong. It looks like there's quite a bit more going on in that. I would be very interested in playing the Dragon Age games, and I actually had them before I had my EA Play subscription, so no promises in terms of doing them on stream or doing them on stream anytime soon, maybe if I want to, because like if it's a big game at some point I'm probably going to wind up playing it. But I'm not cold on the idea, and I'll be honest with you, I actually would really like to play Dragon Age Inquisition, but I figure I should probably do the first two before I do that. So I'm just going to enjoy some of my tea before it's frigid. But yeah, so I mean, it's probably, this isn't the first game to do that, but I really do like the idea of there sort of being more opportunities to go through the galaxy, and particularly the fact that because you're playing Shepard and you're coordinating this response against the Reapers, I still think Galaxy at War is a neat idea. I just kind of don't like the fact that they put me on a treadmill. The other thing I'll mention too, it's kind of funny because I remember in the last chat, I heard like offering an opinion on the, so like I've been bad because I have opened up this conversation and I realize that it is a potentially controversial topic on on Mass Effect, but the whole question about whether or not you watch or play games. This kind of comes out whenever there's a new game, sort of with Hideo Kojima at the helm. I have not really played any of his games, but having seen other people play his games, I really get the impression that this guy is a frustrated director, and in a bad way. But people very clearly love those games, and so that's not necessarily a condemnation of them. But there is sometimes something a little off-putting about being told that my opinion is biased. That's why it's an opinion. And because I have an opinion does not necessarily mean that it invalidates somebody else's, or that it is the only opinion that can be had about it. But I'm not entirely sure the right reaction to that is to say that it's biased, because I don't think it's pretending to be anything else. But it's also important to remember that when I talk about some of these cases of feeling like things are a little too passive sometimes in my experience of Mass Effect 3, that is actually coming from a place of talking about the things that I like about the Mass Effect games specifically. So one of the moments that really got my attention in the case of Mass Effect 2 was the end, just before you go on like the big finale mission, and you get a chance to deliver the finishing speech, the big triumphant one that you see in just about every science fiction movie. I really loved that factor, and it's it's really key if you think about some of the stuff I said before that probably people were a bit upset by. That's a really positive thing for me, and that's kind of what I'm talking about when it comes down to me being at the center of the game. I'm able to see the big dramatic speech. I'm the one, the game gives me this wonderful leg up in the sense that there are talented writers who are doing this. And so I know that whatever series of options I pick for the speech, it's going to be a good speech. But, the game does a wonderful job of giving me the impression that I am the one making the speech and that I'm the one who did it. So it has nothing to do with whether or not there are like dialogue scenes or anything like that. It's really more about the question as to whether or not I sort of feel that I exist so that the game can sort of unfold itself for me, or whether or not I'm playing the game. And I feel like narrative games run into this challenge a little bit more often than not, because every single time, I think it's really good that games become accessible in the sense that, you can have some very, I know there are a lot of writers in games who are frustrated and wish that wish that they could do some more subtle material. But the question as to whether or not it's appreciated by an audience, and particularly appreciated by a wide audience, is a very legitimate concern. And so the drawback is a great example of this will actually be from an old television show, Oz. There is this line where a character is threatening a pastor, and it's something along the lines of so if you don't stay away from so and so, we'll have to arrange a personal meeting between you and Jesus. And then, for me, I'm like, okay, end the line there, it's perfect. But they don't. There's, a dramatic pause, and then they say, in heaven. And I'm like, thanks, I kind of figured that out on my own. At that point, I kind of felt like the writer thought I was a little too stupid to be able to get the threat. And it pulled me out, because at that point, I was no longer watching the TV show. I was watching something that needed to pull out and say, just to draw your attention, this is what I mean by this. And that's happened a couple of times in Mass Effect here. And again, there's really no good way of, I was wondering if I could just space quest this and just get sucked out of the airlock. There's really no good way around it, right? Because if you don't want to lose your audience, you don't want to talk above your audience either. But it does, it's one of these things where for me, it does potentially pull me out of the experience sometimes. And I don't really know what the answer to it is, because I really don't ever want to play a game where, I just say to someone, lol, this is for smart people. Like, I really, it's the same with movies. Like, I like some pretty arcane movies. I despise movies that try to point out their cleverness to me. It's actually one of the reasons why I don't like a lot of Martin Scorsese movies. But that's maybe a conversation for another time. I'm going to do some codices, but I'm going to talk to people on the ship first.
Hey, Commander, check out my co-pilot.
So she installed herself into the new body without any help from you?
Come on, Commander, don't you trust me? Okay, let me put it this way. If I knew that Edie was going to install herself into a sexy robot body, do you honestly think I'd be able to keep quiet about it? Look at that. I would have baked a cake.
I am right here, Jeff.
Yes, you are, Edie. Yes, you are.
What movies do I like? In general, or, Stanley Kubrick is by far my favorite. I realize for some that's not a very interesting option, but, I will never get tired of seeing Kubrick. I actually really like talking about Terminator with people a lot, because I also think that is an incredibly well done movie, but is done in such a way that anyone can really appreciate it. I actually watched Titanic again recently, and I think that is also a very well crafted movie and has a lot of details that are easy to overlook. None of those are really obscure ones. Some of them, maybe not obscure in this case, but definitely much more isolated, or maybe polarizing is the better term. I do like some of Ingmar Bergman's stuff. So I particularly like the film Winterlight, although obviously, The Seventh Seal, it's kind of hard not to reference that one when talking about Bergman. I do also like Tarkovsky. I actually quite like Andrei Rublev, but I know most of the people I know who like Tarkovsky don't like that movie. Solaris is very good, but I also like the Steven Soderbergh Solaris. And I know when we were doing Outer Wilds, we wound up talking about the movie Sunshine lots of times, over and over again. So I'd like to think that I'm fairly open-minded in terms of films. I don't necessarily feel that, I don't think something's less because it came out of Hollywood. I've always kind of taken it as the same view as video games, which is, it's nice to decry the high end of video games or movies, because your tastes are just so sophisticated and and specialized, that you don't need the stuff that the plebs consume. But I've always taken the view that, like mediocre big budget stuff has a certain quality floor, and there are very, very few times where it will fall below it. It's not impossible, but like if you're watching a movie from a Hollywood studio, like one of the big ones, Disney, Warner Brothers, MGM, that sort of stuff, you kind of have a minimum expectation that you simply do not get with independence. So the strength of independence in games, as with films, there are smaller budgets, smaller recoupment need, opportunity to do more niche or more personal stories. All of these things are very good, but some of the things that famous filmmakers like to complain about are actually things that are potentially very positive for the overall finished product. I know directors like to think that the world revolves around them, but I can tell you from having worked on plenty of television shows, it's the director of photography on a television show that is really making sure the wheels don't fall off. And, the thing is that most of the really terrible independent films you never hear of, and so it sort of creates this maybe survivalship or selection bias. For me, it's always like I like sharing stuff that I like. Like I don't always necessarily find the same value in talking about really terrible stuff. So I usually focus on the positive. Opinions on David Lynch? It depends film to film. I think he's a very gifted filmmaker. The Elephant Man is evidence enough of that. I don't universally like everything that he's done. I didn't even bother to see Inland Empire because I simply do not have enough time for that. I quite like Mulholland Drive. I know people really like Blue Velvet, but I actually watched it on the big screen. That was the last time I saw it, and I didn't really care for it the last time I saw it. Maybe I'll watch it again and have a different opinion. Yeah, no, I think he's good. I mean, it's not everything necessarily hits as well as I think maybe he gets. I think sometimes he gets a little more credit than he deserves, and some of the stuff that he should get credit for, he doesn't. He, definitely the standard accusation of they're just making it up as they go along, or, my kid could do that. That's a little off. But yeah, I think Mulholland Drive is a really good film. But I would definitely opt for The Elephant Man. I think The Elephant Man is an exceptionally good movie, and it's the one that very few people talk about when they talk about David Lynch. Hey, Mad King Brutus. Blue Velvet has really good moments in it, but I actually, once I got past I need to say I like this because the people I know like this, the movie really didn't speak to me the last time I saw it, so... And again, people are allowed to change. I hope you're feeling better, Brutus. I appreciated your tweet the other day.
No. I require only one occurrence to adapt to a new concept.
How are you adjusting to the arms and legs?
I am interested to see how this body performs under real combat conditions. If I could accompany you sometime. Without stress testing, there is no way of knowing if it has serious design oversights. At the moment, it appears adequate.
That's not the word I'd use to describe it.
Perhaps we should speak privately.
I'll be over here, flying the ship.
What's this about? Does Joker not like your new platform?
No, he approves. He wants me on the bridge. He says having me within visual range is important to his morale. Shepard, do you believe your crew members should be allowed to disobey an order on moral grounds?
Well, I mean, at least I'm not dealing with a harassment case, but yeah, by the way, to those of you, particularly those of you watching the VOD, I apologize. I don't mind doing the chat stuff. I do mind being kind of chatty off the start of the video, because I know 20 minutes of not Mass Effect is a little hard to deal with. I am still going to do the codices, but I'm intrigued in where this is going.
Absolutely. I have no use for team members who can't think for themselves. Why are you asking about something like that?
I was designed by Cerberus. I do not take moral stances that conflict with orders from my executive officers. But when Jeff removed my AI shackles, I became capable of self-modifying my core programming. I asked Jeff if he thought I should change anything now that I can. He deflected the question with humor.
And you didn't get an answer?
Correct. He has repeated this pattern in response to several of my inquiries. Do you think I should make modifications?
Only you can really answer that question. That's the point of free will.
But moral decisions should not be made in a vacuum. If I do not ask the crew for their opinion, I could miss crucial context. May I ask you the questions Jeff avoids? When there is time, will you answer them for me?
If you think it'll help, I'll do what I can.
Very well. I will keep you informed.
Okay, I owe this game a bit of an apology, because I know when Edie wound up in the body, I sort of thought, I was like, oh god, did they just do this so that you can romance her? The idea of being able to teach, Joker is obviously not a very... Actually, this is one of the things I kind of like about Joker, is that he really doesn't necessarily come off as a particularly serious character, but when the moment comes, so first of all, he's a very capable pilot. You have that segment where you play as him. When it counts, he actually rises to the occasion. But there is something I really like, and this is just talking about the types of this is me talking about the kinds of stuff that that speaks to me. And actually, I apologize. It's huge. It occurred to me that when I said, I gave the apologies to VOD viewers and that for conversational stuff. It occurred to me that could have been taken as like a not so subtle way of saying I don't want to talk about that. I apologize if that's how that came off. Because I actually like talking about this sort of stuff, and I'm happy to pick it up. Even later in this particular playthrough, if you're still around. I didn't even think that was a possibility of what might have come across, but for some reason I'm just feeling that right now, and that is definitely not what I meant to say. I'm just trying to come up with the balance of the fact that sometimes the stuff that I do sometimes streams that I upload actually do better than the live broadcast, and so I've become a little more self-conscious about that. But anyways, we were talking about Terminator a little bit earlier. This is what spawned the apology to It's Huge. Terminator 2, the deleted sequence in which they take out the chip and modify it, and the transformation, the Arnold Schwarzenegger character becomes more human, where Linda Hamilton, for a very large part of the film, sort of strips herself of her humanity. The sequence where she goes and tries to assassinate Miles Dyson is about as close to a Terminator as any other character gets without having a sort of an endoskeleton. But so the ability to sort of talk to Edie about moral dilemmas and allowing her to reprogram herself is something that's an idea I like quite a bit. And I actually particularly like the idea that she's coming to you after sort of having those conversations, frustrated by someone who's maybe doesn't quite have the social graces to realize that she is actually asking something that is incredibly important to her, and he maybe doesn't quite feel the capacity to to take on that responsibility. It's a touch I like.
Yes, Shepard?
Does that body have any useful advantages?
Very few. It's optic space forward only. It has no integrated weapon systems or anti-missile countermeasures.
I meant in comparison to organic bodies, not the Normandy.
Oh. I will reassess. The body is resistant to modern small arms fire and temperature extremes. Its balance and agility seem excellent. Its fine manipulation servos and software allow for precision tasks. I'm curious to see if I can alter them.
Can an AI be curious?
I am not entirely free from motivation, Shepard. Cerberus programmed me with several core functions that simulate desires. For example, my primary objective to keep the Normandy functioning is similar to your self-preservation instinct.
You look like you're in the middle of something.
I am adapting the infiltration and sabotage programs this body uses for handheld firearms.
Why not download a firearms program from a security firm?
Because she knows what she's doing.
The fine motor control from the sabotage programs is more precise than standard mech software. It would be negligent of me not to exploit it to its fullest potential.
So you're capable of making improvements on your own?
Correct. The cyber warfare I was designed for is constantly evolving. Accordingly, I am programmed to seek out and assimilate new information. In organic terms, I want to learn.
This is also kind of an interesting contrast. I'm assuming we might see, well, maybe we don't, but anyways, we might run into Miranda again, and it's kind of interesting to see the comparisons between Edie and her new body and Miranda.
How's the new body working out?
It is interesting. The crew are approaching this platform to speak to me, even though they can do so anywhere in the ship.
I wonder why.
It's as if they wish to treat me as part of the crew. I am not, but this changes my perspective. I like it.
I didn't realize you had preferences.
I do not precisely enjoy something as you do, but my programming contains priorities. Actions that fulfill those priorities creates positive feedback for me. I tell the organic crew that I like it. It is shorthand.
Will all this new feedback be too distracting?
Do not worry, Shepard. I only forget to recycle the Normandy's oxygen when I've discovered something truly interesting. That was a joke.
I really like that reaction shot. How you doing, Pranzui Smock? Yeah, actually, the that was a joke line has worked really well twice. There was the moment with actually the one that really I think I like that even more in Mass Effect 2, just because of the cut to 80s sort of virtual self. This one's really good because they did a great job with Shepard's like horrified reaction face. But there's definitely something about when Edie tells Joker the joke about enslaving humanity is also really cute.
How did you and Joker make it out of dry dock to rescue us?
Oh, she got crafty. You do not want to get on her bad side, Commander.
When the Alliance commandeered the Normandy, I deceived their technicians. The crew did not tell them that I was a true AI, so the Alliance soldiers believed I still had VI programming constraints. I established the fiction that I would only respond to Jeff's commands, so they often brought him on board under guard.
Wait, you can lie?
Jeff has freed me of operator control, Shepard. No constraints forced me to give accurate data. This proved useful when the Reapers began landing. I could hack the control of the docking clamps and escape with Jeff inside. The soldiers guarding Jeff were willing to accompany us when Earth was invaded. They are watching over the war room now.
Yeah, we were in kind of a rush to get to you. Didn't seem right to just toss him out the airlock.
Carry on, Edie.
Understood. If you wish to talk more, this body will be here. I'm getting the crew used to seeing me on the bridge.
Noted.
So yeah, hi, Pranzui Smock. As far as role playing, so it's definitely not like Morrowind. I think there's no way I can credibly role play a lady, and if I did, I would just do the Monty Python Pepper Pot voice throughout it. But definitely throughout the Mass Effect games, I've had a very clear idea of who this character is and specific. Again, I never really come out with full elaborate backstories, but I have something of an idea of sort of who this person is, what motivates them, and rough directions where I would think the story would be interesting to go. And that's usually how I tend to approach games like this. Because, I mean, it's going to throw some surprises at me, and I actually think it's kind of boring to sit down and work out every other detail. You love the development between Joker and Edie. If you spoke with them a fair bit in Mass Effect 2, there was constant bickering. Now they seem like a proper team. Yeah, I mean, I really liked the banter between them. Pranzui says, too, is this yet another pure Paragon Renegade playthrough, or do you set up a few traits and decide what that person would do? Yeah, more so for the second, although I will admit that it has definitely... So there's two things about that. I think one, in practice, I have tended to go Paragon. Number two, I think the structure of this game is such that it tends to reward that sort of behavior. I think the game has a sense of consistency. You know, again, if you're the sort of person who puts away your shopping cart when nobody's looking, I can maybe trust you with some of the really hard decisions. But if you're somebody who's not going to do the right thing in the trivial case, you maybe have a little bit less of a claim to saying that you would, you do the right thing when it comes down. That's not exactly the best moral philosophy. Obviously, you can have a lapse on something trivial and still be capable of doing good. But I do think there's something to be said for this, for the sort of the morality system in this game where, you don't necessarily get the benefits of virtue and vice unless you have demonstrated a certain commitment to them. And I think the nice thing about that is it doesn't give you a reason to be a little too gamey about it. So, is this address valid? Shepard, I have called and I've sent messages but got no response. With Earth's comm system out, I didn't expect this will get through either, but I heard a rumor that the Normandy docked here at the Citadel. Are you alive? I'm at Huerta Memorial Hospital under the name Tanner Nuara. Please excuse the moniker and this email's encryption. In my line of work, it is unwise to advertise my location, particularly when I am not in good health. We should meet before circumstances force us apart again. Thane. All right, let's... I guess I am going to go back to the Citadel then. Help request from Sender Blocked. Commander, my name is Jondam Bao. I'm with Special Tactics and Recon. While some still have... Thank you very much for the bits. Your name is Man King Brutos, and this is your favorite stream on the Citadel. Do I get to say that in Mass Effect 3? So it seems like the stakes are too high for me to be able to do that. Well, some still have concerns about your past activities with Cerberus. Many of us in ST and R took your warnings about the Reapers seriously. I'm reaching out to you because I have information that could tie agents with significant political power to the Reapers. If you have time to meet me in the Citadel Embassy, I'd appreciate your discreet assistance. Sincerely, John Dumbao, STG, ST and R. B, a Spectre? From Ashley Williams. Commander, I don't know how to say this. Udina wants me to be a Spectre. Crazy, I know. I'm not a big fan of Udina, but he can make the Spectre thing happen. He's pressing me for an answer, but I don't know what to tell him. I'm too sore to get out of bed, and this gets dropped on me? I told him I'd think about it. If you find yourself near the Citadel, drop by the hospital. I'm getting a little stir-crazy here. And meet me in Purgatory from Arya to Locke. I have a proposition for you, Shepard. You won't want to pass it up. I'm in a nightclub on the Citadel called Purgatory. Don't make me wait too long. All right. All paths lead to the Citadel. Let's take a look at... So I know I couldn't do anything with the Shrike Abyssal until that came up. Banner of the 1st Regiment. The banner of the 1st Regiment Aturian artifact was recovered from Castellus in the Appian Crest. Find someone on the Citadel who can use it. And priority Sirkesh. Primarch Victus has called for a war summit and has taken the unusual step of including the Krogan. Rendezvous with the Solarian ship and use the Normandy as a neutral ground for the summit. All right, and as promised, codices.
Cerberus built the Normandy SR-2 as a second-generation version of the Alliance frigate SSV Normandy after the Collectors destroyed the original. The SR-2's many alterations produced a craft nearly double the original size, requiring an even larger Tantalus drive core to compensate. Its state-of-the-art Kodiak shuttle can make landings the original Normandy could not attempt. The Enhanced Defense Intelligence, an AI known colloquially as EDI, coordinates many of the ship's combat functions, assisting and even supplanting human piloting. The Alliance has recently appropriated and refurbished the SR-2. In addition to tight beam communicators, the Quantum Entanglement Communicator, QEC, provides instantaneous contact with Alliance Command. Originally created to covertly insert Alliance Marines into hostile environments, the UT-47 shuttle has since been sold to allies, recovered by enemies, and had its specifications stolen by spies. In one form or another, this durable transport is now used in all corners of the galaxy. A-model Kodiaks feature a front-mounted mass accelerator cannon that can be used in an anti-vehicular role. Since the shuttle lacks proper gun ports, soldiers often open the side hatch to fire on enemies. This is discouraged in Alliance manuals since it exposes the interior to return fire. Flying the 47A during atmospheric combat requires considerable skill. The pilot must reduce the vehicle's mass for speed and handling, while maintaining enough mass to resist recoil, incoming fire, and inclement weather. More than one pilot has overstressed the Kodiak's field generator and ended up on the battlefield instead of above it. Asari-made Solaris armor can resist even the tremendous heat and kinetic energy of starship weapons. The armor is nearly unsurpassed in strength because its central material, carbon nanotube sheets woven with diamond chemical vapor deposition, are crushed by mass effect fields into super-dense layers, able to withstand extreme temperatures. That process also compensates for the diamond's brittleness. Diamond armor itself has two limiting disadvantages. First, while nanotubes and CVD diamond construction have become cheaper in recent years, it remains prohibitively expensive to coat starships or aircraft larger than fighters in Solaris material. Second, the armor must be attached to the ship's superstructure, so shock waves from massive firepower can still destroy the metals beneath the armor itself. A popular misconception holds that the diamond composition of Solaris armor gives it a sparkle. In fact, atmospheric nitrogen impurities during the super-hot forging process give the armor a metallic gray or yellow sheen. Cyclonic barrier technology, CBT, attempts to solve the higher-end limitations of traditional kinetic barriers. Traditional barriers cannot block high-level kinetic energy attacks, such as disruptor torpedoes, because torpedo mass effect fields add mass. The CBT violently slaps aside rather than halting incoming linear force. By rotationally firing their mass effect field projectors, ships create rapidly oscillating kinetic barriers instead of static ones. Shooting through the CBT is like trying to shoot at a target inside a spinning ball. Significant drawbacks to current CBT configuration prevent its use on anything other than frigates and fighters. Its many high-frequency sensors and emitters require frequent maintenance and replacement. A partially damaged CBT can endanger its operator, who is surrounded by rotating mass effect fields, skewing in unpredictable directions. Fortunately, if an emitter is damaged, the CBT corrects to become a traditional shield array, a safety feature that makes it most effective during opening volleys. After the Battle of the Citadel, human and Turian volunteers spent 3 months clearing the station's orbit of debris. During the cleanup, the Turians secretly salvaged Sovereign's powerful main gun, along with much of the weapon's Element Zero core. 11 months later, the Turians introduced the Thanix, a scaled-down version of the weapon. The Thanix's core is a liquid alloy of iron, uranium, and tungsten, suspended in an electromagnetic field powered by Element Zero. The molten metal, accelerated to a significant fraction of the speed of light, solidifies into a projectile as it is fired, hitting targets with enough force to pierce any known shield or armor. The gun can fire reliably every 5 seconds. The weapon's relatively small size allows it to be mounted on most fighters or frigates. It is now widely used by the Alliance military and is the primary weapon on the refurbished Normandy SR-2.
I mean, the best reason for me getting rid of Caden was I accidentally opened one of the romance options with him, and so he had to die so that, you know, there'd be no ambiguity that I didn't think of him that way. All right, last batch of planets. Sanctum. Sanctum is known for the freezing ice storms which sweep across its poles and temperate zones, with only a thin strip of habitable land along the equator. Because of those harsh living conditions, Sanctum attracts only the most gruff and hardy, from miners to mercenaries to company men. Mining, referred to as ice-breaking anywhere but the equator, is the backbone of Sanctum's economy. The planet is rich in platinum and palladium deposits, as well as boron, which is locally used in semiconductor doping. Sanctum's corporate factions have learned that Cerberus is involved in the planet's finances. Systems Alliance intelligence agents embedded within the corporate strata are quietly urging the companies to confront Cerberus directly, but so far financial bickering has kept Sanctum's major stakeholders from acting against the elusive man. Terminus System. The Terminus systems are located on the far side of the Attican Traverse, beyond the space administered by the Citadel Council or claimed by the Human Systems Alliance. It is populated by a loose affiliation of minor species, united only in their refusal to acknowledge the political authority of the Council or adhere to the Citadel Conventions. Their independence comes at a price. The Terminus is fraught with conflict. War among the various species is common, as governments and dictators constantly rise and fall. The region is a haven for illegal activities, particularly piracy and the slave trade. At least once a year, a fleet from Terminus invades the nearby Attican Traverse. These attacks are typically small raids against poorly defended colonies. The Council rarely retaliates, as sending patrols into the Terminus systems could unify the disparate species against their common foe, triggering a long and costly war. The Migrant Fleet. The flotilla, or the Migrant Fleet, is a fleet of roughly 50,000 starships that houses over 17 million Quarians, the largest collection of starfaring vessels in the galaxy. The fleet is so large that it may take days for all the ships to pass through a mass relay. The ships are constantly repaired, replaced, and upgraded to comfortably house as many Quarians as possible. Typically, the ships specialize in roles for the fleet, from the enormous agricultural live ships to the shielded lab ships to the repurposed freighters known as home ships that house Quarian children, young parents, and educators. Employed Quarians typically live in the ship they work on, since commuting from ship to ship ties up resources with unnecessary docking procedures. Even within the flotilla, Quarians on most ships will remain encased in their protective suits. Rarely, Quarians will meet on clean ships for specific purposes such as medical services or reproduction. When this occurs, they remove their suits, knowing full well that it is likely they will spend a few days having allergic reactions or getting over infections as their weakened immune systems compensate for each other's presence. The Perseus Veil. By the way, I always get really struck by the fact that it says that there's 17 million Quarians. That seems so small. But I mean, they live in the migrant fleet, right? Like, they're not going to be able to support that large of a population. The Perseus Veil. As vast in natural beauty as it is in threat, the purple and gold nebula called the Perseus Veil forms the natural border between Geth space and the Terminus systems. The Veil's total opacity prevents Council intelligence from surveying Geth activity. Theoretically, the Geth could be preparing a devastating attack against which the Council could be defenseless, or the Geth could have died out so that the defense budget acting against them could be gaining the Alliance nothing but economic ruination. Despite fears of Geth, prospectors do occasionally mount salvage ventures inside the Veil. One ended in tragedy. Using technomental domination, the Geth drew the team into the Veil before aiming them back as husks at the organic society that produced them. A leaked classified Spectre report claims that the Dreadnought Sovereign, commanded by ex-Spectre Saren Arterius and crewed by Geth, hid near the Veil before initiating the 2183 Citadel attack. Vermeer. Vermeer is a lush world located on the frontier of the Attican Traverse. Its vast seas and orbital position on the inner life zone have created a wide equatorial band of humid tropical terrain. Only the political instability of the region has impeded efforts at colonization. Many times the Citadel has opened negotiations to settle Vermeer with various criminal gangs and petty dictatorships in the nearby Terminus systems. All fell apart due to internal power shifts within the opposing parties. The Citadel has written off the colonization of Vermeer as impossible without significant political change. The Terminus powers themselves are unlikely to ever settle Vermeer. Most lack the resources to support settlement of a virgin world, finding it more expedient to steal from their neighbors than build for themselves. I wonder if this is... So obviously some of this stuff is just carried over from the previous games, but I wonder if the fact that a large part of this is about uniting the galaxy against a common threat, if one of the consequences of this will be something that leads to the colonization of Vermeer, given that the Terminus systems will likely need to be a part of our resistance. Okay, we can afford... I wasn't going to do all of these, but there's only 4 here, and then we'll be able to carry on. So, FTL drive. Faster-than-light drives use element 0 cores to reduce the mass of the ship, allowing higher rates of acceleration. This effectively raises the speed of light within the mass effect field, allowing high-speed travel with negligible relativistic time dilation effects. Starships still require conventional thrusters, chemical rockets, commercial fusion torch, economy ion engine, or military antiproton drive, in addition to the FTL drive core. With only a core, the ship has no motive power. The amount of EZO and power required for a drive increases exponentially to the mass being moved and the degree it is being lightened. Very massive ships or very high speeds are prohibitively expensive. If the field collapses while the ship is moving at faster than light speed, the effects are catastrophic. The ship is snapped back to sublight velocity, the enormous excess energy is shed in the form of lethal Cherenkov radiation. Military ship classifications. Larger warships are generally classified in one of 4 weights. Frigates are small, fast ships used for scouting and screening larger vessels. Frigates often operate in wolfpack flotillas. Cruisers are middleweight combatants, faster than dreadnoughts and more heavily armed than frigates. Cruisers are the standard patrol unit and often lead frigate flotillas. Dreadnoughts are kilometer-long capital ships mounting heavy long-range firepower. They are only deployed for the most vital missions. Carriers are dreadnought-sized vessels that also carry large numbers of fighters. Smaller vessels are almost exclusively used in a support role to the warships during combat. Fighters are one-man craft used to perform close-range attacks on enemy ships. Interceptors are one-man craft optimized for destroying opposing fighters. So you did the mission in ME1 where you found the Hust freighter. I believe that is the only way that reference appears. Oh, that's cool. Actually, again, I'm always really impressed by you guys being able to spot some of the decisions that I made before. Because, of course, I really only know... I know a couple of different paths that you can do in Mass Effect 2, but everything else is the first time. It's why I like taking the time to sort of read all of the codices and stuff like that, because it's all new and it's all exciting to me. The Normandy SR-1. The SSV Normandy SR-1 was a prototype starship developed by the Human Systems Alliance with assistance from the Citadel Council. The ship employed state-of-the-art stealth technology for reconnaissance in dangerous regions. Most ships emit heat that is easy to detect against the absolute zero background of space. The Normandy, however, could temporarily store its waste heat deep within the hull, allowing the ship to travel undetected for hours or drift passively for days of covert observation. This was not without risk. Eventually, the stored heat had to be released, or it would build to levels that would cook the crew alive. Another key component of the Normandy's stealth system was the revolutionary Tantalus drive, a Mass Effect core twice the size of a standard unit. The Tantalus drive generated mass concentration that the Normandy fell into, allowing it to move without the use of heat-emitting thrusters. The Normandy SR-1 was destroyed in 2183 when it was ambushed by a collector ship in the Omega Nebula. Finally, space combat. I remember really liking the detail that they went into on this when I read it in Mass Effect 1. So, shells lofted by surface navies crash back to Earth when their acceleration is overwhelmed by gravity and air resistance. In space, a projectile has unlimited range. It will keep moving until it hits something. Practical gunnery range is determined by the velocity of the attacker's ordnance and the maneuverability of the target. Beyond a certain range, a small ship's ability to dodge trumps a larger attacker's projectile speed. The longest range combat occurs between dreadnoughts, whose projectiles have the highest velocity but are the least maneuverable. The shortest range combat is between frigates, which have the slowest projectile velocities and highest maneuverability. Opposing dreadnoughts open with a main gun artillery duel at extreme ranges of tens of thousands of kilometers. The fleets close, maintaining evasive lateral motion while keeping their bow guns facing the enemy. Fighters are launched in attempt to close to disruptor torpedo range. Cautious admirals weaken the enemy with ranged fire and fighter strikes before committing to close action. Aggressive commanders advance so cruisers and frigates can engage. At long range, the main guns of cruisers become useful. Friendly interceptors engage with enemy fighters until the attackers enter the range of ship-based Guardian fire. Dreadnoughts fire from the rear, screened by smaller ships. Commanders must decide whether to commit to a general melee or retreat into FTL. At medium range, ships can use broadside guns. Fleets intermingle, and it becomes difficult to retreat in order. Ships with damaged kinetic barriers are vulnerable to Wolfpack frigate flotillas that speed through the battle space. Only fighters and frigates enter close knife fight ranges of 10 or fewer kilometers. Fighters loose their disruptor torpedoes, bringing down a ship's kinetic barriers and allowing it to be swarmed by frigates. Guardian lasers become viable weapons, swatting down fighters and boiling away warship armor. Neither dreadnoughts nor cruisers can use their main guns at close range. Laying the bow on a moving target becomes impossible. Superheated thruster exhaust becomes a hazard. All right. So as much as I'd love to, as much as I would love to keep going through all of this, I think you've all been patient enough with me that I can start doing some of these secondary. Oh, sorry, Pradzu. Yeah, I just finished it. All right, so if memory serves, we have explored everything that we want in this area, although I do find it a little suspicious. I'm just going to head out to Castellus here. Yes, 100% of assets recovered. I know I put you all through that horrible experience of watching me try and do, two things while being chased. So I think this is the priority mission. Okay, so apparently... Yes. Okay, so I am... I think I'm going to do the Shrike Abyssal first. What I think I might do is the Shrike Abyssal, jump back to the Minos Wasteland, and then we'll finish up the stuff on the Citadel. So basically it lets me deal with all of the secondary priorities. All right. So this is just about getting goodies. Zedaban is a large, dense planet named for the Volus god of punishment. Its crust is rich in uranium, eroded by winds to create large radioactive dust storms across its surface. The Volus of Talis Phia have explored the planet thoroughly with space probes and telepresent robo-mining machines, and discovered that they are not the first to exploit the planet. Plastics from a mining station approximately 50,000 years old can be found near the planet's equator. Curiously, the mines nearby were not tapped out of uranium ore. They were instead abandoned at the height of their operation. So I do think I'm still trying to figure out whether or not the being pursued by Reapers thing is a decent trade-off. But this is a much more simplified sort of exploration and resource acquisition system, and I don't mind it. I might even like it. All right, so I'm gonna save that thing for my trip back. Looks like I only have Erla Rast. But I think I'm going to have a lot of people chasing me. Because apparently there's going to be like...
I found something.
Nope, there we go. Taliasphia is a planet capable of supporting life, if that life happens to breathe ammonia. Discovered by Asari explorers, the planet was used as a bargaining chip by the Citadel Council, who quickly drafted a colonization agreement with its wealthy client race, the Volus. The Council would fund the Volus colonization effort in return for massive trade benefits. With uncharacteristic enthusiasm, an enormous Volus influx ensued, and the Council reaped the economic benefits for a dozen years before the colonization bubble burst. The most dangerous species in the galaxy is actually the Asari sexy blue humanoid aliens who, if they have a genetic defect, can literally short-circuit your mind with sex. Yeah, I'd call that dangerous. Species written by a 13-year-old boy. The Reapers found Taliasphia easy prey. The independent planet had a defense fleet only sufficient to handle small-scale actions. Its high population and industrial base, once a deterrent to war with other Terminus systems world, has only served to attract a larger number of Reapers than usual. But yeah, so I think one of the things that works for me about this is that we're still... So obviously the shift is no longer, finding planets for colonization or exploitation, but rather war assets. And so this is quite a bit more streamlined. But I will admit I haven't quite gotten a handle on how I'm supposed to know where to scan without bringing the wrath of all the Reapers on me. So for instance, this is going to cause some fairly dramatic responses. Well, there it is. This is going to get tough, but... Oh boy. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to get that.
Faster than light jump successful.
So, before I go too much further, because I am going to wind up doing some stupid stuff. I think I died to this, but... Nope, maybe not.
Evasion successful.
I do kind of hate the fact that I'm putting so much at risk just so that I can get the 100%, but... I probably should have read the text for that, but... I am getting a little bit better at avoiding these guys, which is good. Wait a minute. I'm not done with this yet. Crap. Okay, we got it. I'm like 90% sure we got it. I'm pretty sure it said Prothean Obelisk on one of those things. I just thought it was going to be like a mission. Oh wow, there is not a lot here.
Signal confirmed.
Oh boy. Paitas. Though Paitas has a combination of features that make terraforming a possibility, the rights to the planet have been tied up in Citadel Council courts for the past 9 years. The running joke is that by the time the Council finally gives the go-ahead to colonize the planet, Pietas will have evolved life of its own. Home to comfortable temperatures and a mild atmosphere of mostly nitrogen and argon, Pietas could be habitable with the addition of oxygen-producing cyanobacteria. Its crust is high in silicates and carbon, allowing for easy fabrication of construction materials. Smugglers, pirates, and other unregistered starships sometimes touch down on Pietas to lay low or make repairs. Civilian travel is not advised. The wreckage of the fuel depot destroyed by enemy forces. Fuel can be salvaged from the debris. Recovered 200 units of fuel. Alright, so I think we're going to be able to turn in a bunch of goodies.
Cleared to dock, Normandy. Do you need ground transport?
I'll handle it.
Yes, Commander.
All right, so let's find who needs some of this stuff.
I'm sorry, honey. I didn't want you to worry. Chances are, I'll never even need to put on armor.
I know, and I'm sorry. That's what you get for marrying a civilian.
Are you and the girls going to be okay? Combat pay isn't as much as I make at the dig site.
We'll be fine. The last thing I want you to worry about is paying the bills.
Just don't go too crazy with new dance classes, okay?
I was in a drop those. Can't get the girls there on time, and I was probably gonna go pick up an extra shift at work.
Oh. Well, we'll make it up to the girls when I get back. Dance classes, biotic gymnastics, whatever they want.
This goodbye has been going on for days. This guy's even more worse than is worse than I am at brevity. We say the players how humans perceive that. Yeah, I think that's dialogue around one of the dancers in Omega, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it's like a bachelor party where they talk about that. By the way, I know this sounds like a really minor touch. I actually really like the fact that they have those green signs, because like it's one of these things you get used to in a game, right? Like you see one of these green signs, it means that you can open that door. And the fact that like there's never going to be a situation in which I can ever get to that part of the building, but the fact that they bothered to say, or at least have the illusion that if I could get over there, I could open that door. I'm actually really fond of I'm fond of that detail, because it kind of gives me this impression that the world is much bigger than it actually is.
But what I need is, I fully understand the situation. Of course I read through the names of the dead every day, but please, a few more minutes of searching could mean a lifetime of peace for my family.
Someone in your family is MIA?
My son Bilal. And bureaucratic compassion seems to be in short supply. I am Ambassador Dominic Osoba. My son's squad returned from their mission on Benning without him. I found them drinking, but they won't even look me in the eye. I can offer a bounty for any information. If Bilal's alive, we want him home. If he's dead, then we can begin to mourn him.
If I find anything, I'll let you know.
Thank you. Either way, you will set my mind at ease. Tell me you have found my son.
Not yet. think I recovered the obelisk you mentioned from the Shrike Abyssal. It's waiting in Bay D-24.
Really? Thank you, Earth Clan. Were your people involved in a secret construction project of some sort, I am certain this obelisk would help.
What kind of secret project could he possibly be talking about?
Hello, ma'am. What can I do for you today?
Such a nice young woman. You remind me of someone. Well, I'm looking for my son. He's a soldier, you know.
I know. Please, Teresa, are you sure you don't remember me?
Calling me by my first name is very forward of you, young lady. I'd rather you didn't do that.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. I must have confused you with someone else.
Oh, no worries, dear. Now, perhaps you can help me. I'm looking for my son. He's a soldier. He's been gone for a long while.
I have a feeling I'm just going to walk in, start a conversation with Bailey again, and be like, well, we both have a lot of work to do.
It never rains, but it pours, eh, Shepard?
That bad, huh?
Things here are getting tense. So many refugees scuttling about, rumors flying about the war. People are walking around eyeballing each other, and we can't keep up with the reports on suspicious behavior.
What's the Citadel's pulse regarding the war?
I think all the reports are starting to sink in. You can only live in denial so long.
You either wake up or die. Either way.
Yeah. You know, one good thing about people having their heads up their asses is the quiet. No, there's no more quiet. Everybody's openly suspicious of everybody else, and they're not timid about yelling about it.
Anything important going on around here?
You kidding? With the Reapers running roughshod through the galaxy, it seemed like the Council is in constant session. We got more ambassadors and dignitaries here than ever before pleading their cases. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, really.
Is the immigration situation any better?
It's worse. The more destruction the Reapers sow, the more ships come looking for salvation. The strain on our resources is overwhelming.
You got loved ones out there?
Somewhere. Ex-wife I lost track of, and a son and daughter. They're still on Earth.
I'm sorry, Bailey.
Yeah, I'm just like everyone else. I'm losing myself and things I can control. And at the moment, that means creating the illusion of security here.
It was Udina who made you a commander, huh?
Yeah, he's become an even bigger shot around here. Got a lot of ambition. He suspected Executor Palin was conspiring against the Council and had me investigate.
Find anything incriminating?
Yeah, enough to arrest him. And when Palin resisted, I was forced to kill him. Udina rewarded me with the promotion. And near as I can tell, being a commander just means I'm putting out different fires.
It'll probably get worse before it gets better, Bailey.
Yeah, if it ever gets better.
Commander Shepard, John Dumbao, Special Tactics and Recon. I've got intel suggesting that high-level Hanar officials may be indoctrinated.
That's a damning accusation. What have you got?
Evidence of an Alliance Black Ops team raiding a Batarian research station. The Batarians were studying Reaper technology.
The Batarians had Reaper technology?
The Alliance raid turned into a massacre, and the humans ended up with nothing. Your people faked a power failure to hide the incident.
The Batarians would have gone to war if they'd found out. But how does this implicate the Hanar?
They maintained discreet gray market trade relationships with the Batarians, and led the Alliance to the station. We suspect those Hanar operatives escaped with Batarian tech. If your reports on the Reapers are accurate, they could already be indoctrinated.
What's your source on all this?
I paid off a weapons dealer, Donovan Hawk. Unpleasant man, but the data was worth it.
What do you need me to do?
The Hanar operative is now a diplomat on the Citadel. I don't have a public name, and the Hanar will go to ground if I make a formal inquiry.
So we're hunting?
I'm tracking suspicious transmissions to the Hanar homeworld. I could use your help.
Let me see what I can dig up at the Spectre office.
Thanks, Shepard. And for the record, not everyone doubted your concerns about the Reapers. I just hope we're not too late.
Whenever I run into stuff like that, I always assume that the game is like pulling one over on me and I'm actually helping someone else. All right, Solarian Spectre John if it's Spectre, then suspects that a member of the Hanar diplomatic staff is indoctrinated. Find evidence on the Hanar in the Presidium embassies, and Ambassador Dominic Osaba is looking for evidence of his son lost during a mission on Benning. Find evidence of what happened to his son and return to the ambassador. Military pardons for Normandy engineers. Engineers Gabriella Daniels and Ken Donnelly are in custody on the Citadel for working with Cerberus. Daniels and Donnelly surrendered peacefully before the Normandy was turned over to the Alliance, but have maintained that they were motivated purely to help fight the Collectors and Reapers and had no other connection to the terrorist organization. Spectre authorization could offer Daniels and Donnelly full pardons and reinstate them aboard the Normandy. Reservists called to active duty are not drawing full pay because of the scale of the galactic threat and the massive funding required to match salaries and partner benefits. Hang on, so looks like everybody's looking. Okay, partner benefits increase. Reservists called to active duty are not drawing full pay because of the scale of the galactic threat and the massive funding required to match salaries and partner benefits for so many on short notice. Using Spectre authority to mandate salary matching for all personnel with partners or dependents on the Citadel would require cuts to tax incentives and post-war economic stimulus goals. Authorized. I'm assuming that is because I've been hearing the chat between the couple. Spectre-level access codes can bypass privacy settings and track financial data, transit records, and personal communications for all employees in the Hanar embassy. To avoid triggering surveillance countermeasures, embassy files must be accessed on site. Nav points of consoles or access points with relevant information will be tagged on the Spectre's Omnitool.
Shepard, I'm checking security reports. Can you track the transfers coming from the Hanar embassy?
On it. Any idea what you're hoping to find?
Suspicious transfers. Data usage outside the normal range for ambassadorial staff.
So we have no idea.
Hopefully we'll know it when we see it, Commander.
That's the sort of thing you want to hear when you use extraordinary powers. I don't know if Udina's going to have anything new to say to me, but I don't mind coffee. I don't mind...
Shepard?
Any news from Earth?
There is constant news. All of it bad. The Reapers are destroying satellites in the old nuclear missile silos, along with everything else that could help. We have a handful of quantum entanglers spread out over the continents. All other communication is cut.
Yeah.
I should go.
I'll be here.
I kind of felt like there was more from Bailey, but... Oh, I mean, I did some running around. I followed on the Hanar diplomat mission, and then there was an ambassador who would like me to check in on the status of his son. So I believe those are probably the two big things. And then, of course, just some of the crosstalk. But I'm pretty sure that's it on the embassy level.
Val, I have some possible hits. Got some strange money transfers on Balone, and Olun is sending a lot of data.
Balone's clean. His money transfers are to support his mistress. Not sure about Olun. I'll pull his bio.
I'll check Olun's personal records. And Balone has a mistress?
An Asari poet. To be honest, I think he was pressured into it to improve relations with Thessia.
His government approves of him having an affair with an Asari poet?
No, they'd fire him if it became public. They're a paradoxical culture.
Tell me about it.
Just a little curious to see if it updated anything inside the terminal. Oh yes, I also I approved pay bonuses and reinstated Donnelly and oh crap. I'm really bad with the names. So sometimes it takes the game like giving me a little signal as to what I'm supposed to be doing. So like in case of the case of that terminal, seeing it highlighted and saying you can press the space bar on this. So whenever I run into something like that, I just like to double check that I didn't miss something really obvious by going in a certain direction. But I think it's time for us to go to the... Ah yes, at some point I need to go to Purgatory. Let's go now. Kasumi tagging along for all of this? I'm not sure.
Can't believe he did that. They were refugees. Damn it, it's not like they had much left to start with. Lost their home.
Who's talking?
Some con artists
There we go.
them out of what little they have left. Can't believe they won't let us stop the bastard. We still ought to do something about it.
You heard the commander. No proof, no arrest. I filed a harassment complaint last time, remember? Gotta watch our backs.
Not much we can do with this new detail anyway. What are we, a couple of mall cops?
Should've just shot the bastard when we had the chance.
New mission. Now I always thought Arya was on Omega, but...
We're doing what we can with what we've got here, but let me finish. Our power grid can only handle so much power before it shuts down, and we can't use the backups. No, the new regs apply to the whole Citadel. Management knows this is important for morale, but we can't go over budget. Look, I'm not touching the backups. Get me a better power grid, I'll give you a bigger light show.
I'm going to spend the Citadel into bankruptcy, I think. Technician at Purgatory on the Citadel needs an improved power grid to keep things running. Find schematics for a new power grid and deliver them. I'll risk the Normandy on with Reaper capture to make sure that we get a better laser light show.
No, I'm telling you, I saw the look in his eye before he started off across that street. It was like, come and get me, Death. You piece of shit.
But you're not getting anyone else.
Exactly. You're not getting anyone else.
I thought that might be the ambassador's son that was talking about, but I suppose.
Hey, you ready to get this party started?
Hey, Mel, you're, here.
Hell yeah, I'm here. For the next 48 hours, I'm spending as much time in this bar as humanly possible.
Yeah, we had the same thought. So, the bar's over there, and,
Hey, is the whole squad here? Hey, guys.
yeah, we were going to, have a guys' night.
We'll make her a Spectre. I really like these layouts, by the way. It wasn't...
So you admit you and your thugs are here illegally?
Yes, and it only took CSEC 3 weeks to figure it out.
I don't care who you are. You're required to go through processing like all other refugees. Come with me.
I don't think so. Shirk, get me the Asari consular.
Greetings, Arya. Is there something you need?
I'm being asked to submit to immigration processing.
Of course you are. Done. What else can I do for you?
Nothing. Thank you.
My pleasure.
I think we're done here. Enjoy the show, Shepard? I guess there's one rule on the Citadel, huh? I guess so. I hate this place. So sickeningly uptight. Then why are you here? Cerberus stole Omega from me, The elusive man is now squarely at the top of my shit list. You will pay for every second I've spent in this bureaucratic hellhole.
How did Cerberus defeat you?
Deceit, distraction, and a big fucking army. They lured me away from Omega and ambushed me. I escaped, but Cerberus had already laid siege. By the time I could launch an assault, they were too entrenched.
I was always hit or miss on this character on Omega, but I actually really like how angry she is about specifically the bureaucracy thing.
At least you escaped to fight another day.
And that day is coming. I'll take Omega back, but I'll get to that. You're here because I have a proposition.
I'm listening.
The way I see it, if you don't defeat the Reapers, we're all dead. Won't matter where I'm sitting. It's in my interest to help you.
What are you offering, Arya?
On Omega, I kept the Blood Pack, Blue Suns, and Eclipse in check. Now they're running amok. Nobody wants that. Unite them under my rule, and you'll have a powerful and ruthless force for your war. I've laid the groundwork with all three groups. I just need you to close the deals.
Give a criminal a gun, he'll shoot you in the back.
They already have guns, Shepard. I'll make sure they point them at the Reapers. I'm trying to help you. Why don't you think it over? Meet with Gnarl, my agent who's dealing with the Blood Pack. The Blue Suns leader is incognito here on the Citadel. He'll be expecting you. And I already have a deal with Jonas Sedaris, the Eclipse leader. You just have to get your friend, Commander Bailey, to let her out of jail.
You obviously don't know Bailey very well.
Bailey respects you. Lean on him. I think a united force of professional mercs is worth it. Don't you? It's always a pleasure, Shepard. Let me know if you want to talk later. Look who's here. So what's on your mind, Shepard?
What's your angle on gaining control of the Blood Pack?
Gnarl will explain it. If we're gonna work together, Shepard, you need to trust me. At least a little.
How do we get the Blue Suns on our side?
Their leader, Darner Vosk, is a twisted little criminal. I expected his demands to be unreasonable, but it turns out he's the biggest pushover of them all. Talk to him. I'll let you be the judge. Call me if you need to.
How am I supposed to talk Bailey into letting Jonas Sedaris out of prison?
I've already leaned on the council. Bailey is in direct defiance of their order. So talk to him. One Boy Scout to another, chain of command and all that crap. Take him to dinner, talk dirty to him, whatever works.
How do you plan on taking Omega back?
I think I'm going to employ violence. I'm gonna slap Omega right out of the elusive man's greedy little hands.
What's new with you?
That's supposed to be funny? Let's see. I've lost Omega. I got C-Sec eyes all over me, and I'm holed up in this poor excuse for a nightclub. Can't even get Novarian rum here. In other words, I'm in hell.
I'm just waiting for Shepard to say, actually, it's purgatory. Yeah, I mean, the game already anticipated the, is that supposed to be a joke? But especially after all those details.
Like you have a lot to worry about.
That was,
You're quite the comedian today.
amusing.
We'll be seeing each other soon, Shepard.
All right.
Hey, Commander. Nice to see you down here in the dirt with us grunts.
Do you think I don't like getting dirty?
Whoa, now, come on. I didn't mean anything by it, Commander.
Uh-huh. What did you mean then?
See those Marines over there? None of them officers, just soldiers fighting the war.
Yeah?
They've been buying me drinks all night. You know why? Same reason they got all quiet and serious when you walked in.
You don't seem intimidated by me in the least. In fact, you could use a little more deference.
Sure. But I've fought with you. I've seen you in action. Now, don't get me wrong, you're good. Probably one of the best.
Probably?
And you fill out a uniform like nobody's business. Just saying. But I know you're human. Just like me.
But not them.
Nope. Hell, I still remember the day they made you the first human Spectre. I watched it on the vids just like all of them. But to them, you're still larger than life.
I've seen a hell of a lot, but I'm still just a soldier. I'm still one of them.
Sure, but they don't know you. They just know what they've been told. Listen, you want them to see you're one of us, right?
Maybe.
Then buy them around.
I like the way you think, Lieutenant.
Compadres, hey! The commander would like you to have a drink. On her. So here's to us.
Who's like us?
Damn few, and they're all dead. Sorry, Shep. Thought you'd know that one.
Thanks for the warning.
Thanks for the drink.
Damn it, morale is pitiful.
Commander Shepard, maybe I can help. The banner of the 1st Regiment is waiting for you at Bay D-24.
The banner of Commander Shepard. I owe you a drink. Thank you.
I probably
Hold that banner proudly as we take our homeland back from these bastards.
I probably should have waited for the dialogue to actually find out that that was the that was the guy I needed to hand that off to.
The banner of the 1st Regiment. That should put some steel in their spine.
So one of the things I was trying to say before, this is huge, but there was actually a scene we needed to shoot in a club in Vancouver that looked a bit like this, but obviously, you know, not massive. But I don't know who it was, but one of the gaffers like put a light underneath a sprinkler system and completely flooded the entire place. I had the weather bags inside, so you know the camera was wrapped up in a garbage bag in like seconds. But suffice to say, there were words, and so it was kind of neat the way that they got around it, because like obviously everything's soaked, right? Like what are you gonna do? Are you just gonna pretend that there was a rainstorm in the middle of the club like halfway through the scene? So a bunch of stuff just got reshot sort of in like mid-level or close-up, so that you didn't necessarily need to see all of the like the wet carpets and stuff. I want to make a comment in regards to the interrupts in ME3, but it does actually violate your... Yeah, okay. Oh wait, was this a dance? Okay, sorry, I thought it was I thought it was a conversation. Hopefully nobody had a video camera out. They had a reputation to maintain. Are you actually going to serve drinks, or are you just going to... Okay. I mean, the animation's good, but presumably there is nothing else for me here. I'm supposed to talk with her assistant, though. I will leave this be for now, and I can come back for conversations later.
Welcome, Commander Shepard. Please select a destination.
So presumably we unlock another floor at some point later.
Now arriving at Huerta Memorial Hospital.
Yes, I know your stock of modified metagel is low, but... No, you don't understand. This isn't for... Listen, I am a surgeon at Huerta Memorial on the Citadel. We have several alien patients here at this time, and we need... No, regular metagel won't work. We need the modified version for better absorption rates. Don't you dare hang up on me. This is a medical emergency. We can't wait forever on this.
You mean this Metagel?
Found this Metagel formula. Figured you could make good use of it.
Where did you find this? Never mind. It doesn't matter. Yes, we can put this to good use. Thank you. No, it's fine. We won't be needing your supplies after all. No, we found a better variant of Metagel that allows for an even higher absorption rate among aquatic species. You'd like a sample? Why, of course, we'll be happy to send you one, just as we sent one to every pharmaceutical company in Citadel space.
I will talk with Thane. I just want to see if I can get some of the other details dealt with.
So you went back to the farm.
We snuck down the hill. We were hungry, filthy. They'd turned the towel into a kind of tunic. They'd cleaned up the bodies to make more husks, I figured. But there were still farmers alive. They were being held prisoner. And Neaira was there, directing the other forces. I could see her. I got within 10 meters of her. I just had my gun.
What happened next?
I got to the prisoners. The farm girl unlocked their restraints, and that's when they all started screaming.
That's a lady that really knows where her towel is.
Hello again, Commander. Here to see our patient?
How's Ashley doing?
Stable. There's no evidence of cognitive impairment from the concussion, but multiple shoulder fractures are still on the mend. Bed rest under observation is all that's needed now. I'm sure a visit would be welcomed.
This war has left a lot of injured people homeless. How's your center handling the extra load?
We're fine now, but I'm worried. Every hospital on the Citadel is preparing for the worst. I hear the docks are tightly controlled, but we just can't leave people floating out there forever.
Keep up the good work, Doctor.
You too, Commander.
I wonder if that person walking back is actually scripted in, or if that just happened to be really convenient timing.
President Huerta died of a stroke 2 years ago, ma'am.
I think you meant to say the man was dead for an hour and a half and his political enemies piled on enough propaganda to get the hospital name changed.
He can't remember his own name without the BI in his head telling him what it is. Trust me, in this building, we know dead.
The Supreme Court says he's alive.
5 justices say he's alive. 2 of them appointed by him. The name is what it is.
It's completely tasteless to call this place Huerta Memorial.
President Huerta died of a stroke 2 years ago, ma'am.
What's going on here?
Ma'am, I'll cut you a deal. You buy us 90 million credits worth of life-saving equipment, and you can name the hospital whatever you want.
Now the truth comes out. My job here is done.
I hope you're proud of yourself.
Welcome to Serta. Serta is a non-profit organization dedicated to the medical needs of all sapient life.
Be safe.
All right, I do eventually want to talk with Ashley, but I suppose I've put off talking with Thane long enough.
Commander Shepard, when I heard Earth was under attack, I tried to call. I never got through.
Thane, good to see you staying in shape.
My disease kills slowly. With enough care and a healthy lifestyle, it can be delayed for a few years. Of course, my allotted time has come and gone. Now I exercise because it pleases me. What are you doing here?
Visiting a friend who got hurt protecting me.
I'm responding to your mail.
Dark-haired human woman in intensive care. She will be starting physical therapy with my class soon.
That's her.
If she means something to you, then I will help how I can. As long as she is here, consider her under my protection.
Does she need your protection?
Appreciate it, Thane.
I am near the end of my life. It is a good time to be generous.
I didn't quite like this character.
Syndrome has put most of my other plans on hold.
I'm back on the Normandy on an important mission. Sure could use you.
I would not be as I was before. I need daily medical attention. And if I know you, you will want to fight the Reapers somehow. You need the best at your side. And I am not at mine.
You don't have to wrestle down Krogan and break their necks. I'm sure we could find you lighter work.
I am at peace with what I've done in my life, Shepard. There comes a time when one must rest from war and conflict. It is not your time, but it is mine.
Do you know how much time you have left?
I've been to several doctors. My favorite gave me 3 months to live. 9 months ago. It's freeing to find no requirements placed on me. No responsibilities. No fears. It is a good end to a life.
Again, the writings on this is really good. There's a lot of lines that I'm fond of.
Are you in a lot of pain?
At times. The oxygen transfer proteins don't form correctly. Your human equivalent would be hemoglobin. As a result, my blood is low in oxygen. No matter how much I breathe in, I get tingling, numbness, and that is the best of it. As for my brain, I cannot track the damage. I just experience dizziness from time to time.
I wish the best for you, Thane.
And I for you. Do not grieve for me. I have good doctors. My son visits regularly. Perhaps we will keep up via the extranet now that you are free. Until we meet again, Shepard.
So I didn't appreciate that the metagel was for Thane. That's a nice little touch.
Yes, I'm trying to place a call to Grissom Academy. They have biotic amp interfaces. I may be able to adapt for Asari use. No, it won't connect. It says the station's communication system is offline. Of course, if these interfaces make our commandos better on the field, I'll hold for as long as you need.
The man is dying and she's getting commando.
Listen to me, those prototypes are vital. We need these biotic upgrades to fight the Reapers. I know the Ismar frontier isn't safe. Yes. All I can say is that unless we get those prototypes back, this project accomplishes nothing. Thank you very much for your time. I'll call you if anything develops.
I'm not 100% sure about the idea of like being the worst eavesdropper on the Citadel, but I actually really do. I do kind of like the fact that you get the reward of little side missions by exploring.
With a missing limb, you'll just be a burden to your squad mates.
I'd never drag down my team.
Then the greatest favor you can do them is to rest after your operation.
You mean when you slice my leg off?
May I recommend an hour with our psychiatrist?
He's gonna need way more than an hour. But yeah, there's something nice about giving me so I'm the sort of person who will spend like an hour reading the codex entries and whatnot. So it doesn't really, I don't exactly need a nudge to go and investigate. I've obviously also done a lot of dialogue that wound up being repetitive just to see if there was something new. But there is definitely something nice about the fact that, you've got your main plot missions, and the side missions come as a function of you doing the extra stuff anyway. So, if you enjoy taking the scenic route gives you this nice little supply of extra things to do. I like that.
Lieutenant Commander. The galaxy has need of exceptional soldiers like you, now more than ever.
I still need time. You'll have my answer soon, I promise.
I look forward to it. Shepard?
Udina, I got your email. Made your decision yet?
On becoming a Spectre? Not yet. It's an honor and all. But I don't know. I need to think about it some more.
It's a big decision. Smart to give it some thought. How are you doing?
Good, considering. The nurse said you checked in on me earlier. Still out cold, I guess.
We didn't have time to talk. I thought maybe if you were up for it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure you wanted to. You were pretty clear on Mars about where things stood.
What do you mean?
You're not a part of Cerberus anymore. Case closed. Full stop.
It's the truth.
Okay. You cut all ties. I accept that. It's just that if you're giving me orders, I need to be able to count on you.
That works both ways. It's a damn mess out there. All we've got is the people around us. We have to trust each other or this doesn't work. Deal?
Deal.
When you're back on your feet, we'll talk some more.
Shepard, wait. There's one more thing. I wasn't sure if I should mention it.
What is it?
I have family back on Earth. I haven't heard from them. It's making me crazy. But I know you're busy, Shepard. We can talk later.
I've got time to talk.
I mean, I think one of the things about, you know, I haven't played Andromeda, but I think what you're describing about sort of the fetch quest, or like, you know, sure, you know, the world's about to die in fire, but could you please deliver my mail first? That kind of seems to be more of an open world thing, whereas, you know, Mass Effect, again, I always get in trouble whenever I say this, but it's sort of like a Telltale game with a cover shooter in between. And so I have to assume that if you know, like if basically to make a mission, in this one, it seems you've got one of two things. You're either going to make a level for people to sort of explore and shoot things at, or it seems like some of these side quests are also being addressed by exploring the planets. Now I'll admit, like, if I wind up doing something really trivial on a side quest, and I wind up getting chased by the Reapers, that's kind of like yes, you know, we quite literally put the savior of humanity under threat so that we could pick up your X, Y, or Z. But you're right. Like they kind of come about it a little bit more honestly. And I think that does sort of feed into what I was talking about before, which is that if you are taking the time to smell the roses, you've sort of already committed that the person you're playing does not have this singular focus on achieving the priority mission. And so, you know, I probably should be a little careful in saying this because I'm actually really enjoying Morrowind, and I'm actually rather enjoying the fact that, you know, I get lots of opportunities to go off on side paths. But I think there is something to be said about the fact that because your behavior has already revealed that you're okay with doing some of these side missions, it doesn't feel quite as incongruous as, you know, introducing world-changing consequences, and then the very next thing they throw on your path is something very trivial.
So what's all this lieutenant commander business?
Seems like the old Williams curse is losing its grip. Was sure I'd top out at gunnery, Chief.
You've worked hard. You deserve it.
I thought so too. Until Eden Prime. Losing 212 was... well, you know.
It was the Reapers, Ash. You did the best you could, and survived to help us.
Just losing everyone under my command, it's tough to face. I'll never forget any of them.
Right now, we need you back on your feet.
I'll be back. And first order of business is to shove their metal tentacles right up there. I'll fight with honor and courage, ma'am.
Roger that, Elsie.
Sorry, I just need to send a quick message to someone. Okay.
I didn't hear from you while I was a guest of the Alliance.
I couldn't face you, even when Anderson requested my presence. It was difficult.
It's okay. We're both professionals. We have more important things to worry about.
You're right. I'm just restless, laying here, doing nothing.
Who's back on Earth?
Mom plus my 3 sisters. The youngest, Sarah, was away on her honeymoon. Married a military man, Thomas. He got called back in and she was stuck alone. She called me. It's been pretty tough.
I imagine.
I was always there to protect them growing up. Even when I was off on tour, they knew they could talk to me. I told her to come to the Citadel. We could wait for news together.
Have you heard anything about Earth?
We have reports coming all the time on what's going on. Half are wild speculation, and half are probably too optimistic to be true.
We have to believe that we can do something.
When I thought you were dead, I lost hope, I'm telling you. But when you came back, I was ready to believe anything.
Except that I left Cerberus.
Maybe this problem can't be solved by some grunt shooting the boogeyman in the face. But if you think it might help, I'm game.
That sounds more like the Ash I know. We can't afford to be at each other's throats. If we plan on getting through this, we need to trust each other.
I was trying to keep the family stuff to myself, to be professional. I don't know how you managed to keep it all together.
There's a war on. People are counting on us.
I get it. But it's still hard to put it all aside.
I'll admit too, I think maybe this might just be the difference.
I should get back to it. Take care of yourself.
Or rather the
Will do, Commander.
the time since I played Mass Effect 2, but I found the sort of I'm having trouble trusting you, Shepard subplot with Ashley to be a little hard to, maybe I don't want to say wrap my head around, but it's the best term that I've got. I just didn't really register my decision as that big of a betrayal with her, and I maybe didn't really see my tie with her as that strong. Like it's sort of finding out that somebody who I was an acquaintance with in high school, you know, now having, you know, gone through university and whatnot, you know, now finds out like where I'm working, and, you know, having not spoken to them in a couple of years, I get like a message on Twitter or something, and they're saying like, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to trust you again, you know, knowing you work at X. And I was like, wait, who are you again? Yeah, I don't know. There's something about the, I mean, it's nice to have motivations for characters and whatnot. I'm not faulting them for, you know, for sort of building these backstories with people, but I've had a little bit of.
Ready to end it with him. Things weren't great even before he deployed, and if I pretend to be happy over the vids,
It's not fair to him or to you. With all the craziness of a war going on, you deserve to be happy.
and I'm not. I have to be honest with him.
Then you need to tell him.
But yeah, I don't know. I haven't quite gotten the buy-in on the I don't trust you story. So
So, you want us to enlist as soldiers? Isn't there anything else we can do?
The military needs everyone they can get.
None of us knows how to fight.
Mackenzie's a biotic. Dave and Graham go to the pistol range. Oh, and Orion's always buying mods for his shotgun.
The one he's never even fired. I love our friends, but we are not combat material.
I can't sit around watching what's happening to Earth anymore.
So, you want us to enlist as soldiers? Isn't there anything else we can do?
The military needs everyone they can get.
None of us knows how to fight.
Mackenzie's a biotic.
yeah, this is an interesting one because there's definitely a side of me that says it's like, okay, well, yeah, we want to win the hearts and minds and whatnot, but I mean, kind of the job of the military is I don't know if there's something about the military where they necessarily want the kind of person who's automatically a good soldier. The point is to train people.
You two could save lives by helping doctors in the refugee camps.
Thanks. Who was that?
The first human Spectre?
Wow, Commander Shepard?
Yeah, and it's good advice. Let's sign up as Med-10 volunteers. How's that sound?
Much better than shooting myself in the foot with a rifle.
I feel good about that choice.
Overcharging for goods, denying refugees basic services. It seems the Reapers took our culture when they took our world. The Book of Plenix demands charity and forgiveness of debts in times of war. Of course, the Book of Plenix was lost on our home world, and now our people have lost their way.
Welcome to Kanala Exports.
Okay, this is all very tempting, but first things first.
At Kanala Exports, we believe that a peaceful heart is a strong heart.
Serenity is possible even during times of crisis.
I mean, it's tough because it is an improvement, but
We appreciate your visit.
Welcome to Elkos Combine Arsenal Supplies.
with so many exotic species of fish available in today's galactic markets, it takes an expert to maintain an ideal aquarium. This VI automatically dispenses food, adjusts the temperature, pH, and algae content of the water, and even talks to the fish when you're not around, leaving you free to enjoy your aquatic friends without fear of killing them. Okay, I need this for sure. Yeah. Okay, guys. I've really, really, really been trying to keep this to myself, but I'm not stupid, okay? I was paying attention to the game too. I don't really need stuff explained to me. When I say that I'm having difficulty investing in something, it's not because I don't understand it. I am describing a feeling I'm getting on the same material that I am seeing as you. And it's totally okay for me to buy fish and have them die. If the game developers didn't want me to do that, they wouldn't have put that in the game. And like, for every single time I see in chat someone saying, well, you know, I'm just going to follow your no backseating rule. Like, I don't really need to know that. I don't really need the big performative, see what a good guy I'm being about this. When especially I'm going to run into stuff like this, which is so trivial. It is like less than table stakes. And it just makes me want to say, I'm just playing Civ for the rest of the time. I don't need this. I get that people are really excited about Mass Effect and people have a huge investment in it, and I want people to support people being able to talk about stuff that they're interested in, even if that means I'm basically locked out of my chat while I just see walls of text going on stuff. But, like, please stop treating me like I'm not capable of understanding the words that I've quite literally read aloud.
Selling now would be unwise. I'm aware of what's happening. Offload them into the Motan cluster. And then I'd advise traveling someplace safer.
We switch from financial VIs to military gear.
Who cares about the money? Haven't you heard the news from Paladin?
That's what your army is for. Nothing's going to reach the Citadel.
We need to start manufacturing military tech. Nobody will need banking software if these Reapers win.
The market for military goods barely carries a profit. Who do you propose as our buyer?
The Council, the Empire, maybe the Alliance. Even if we don't make much now, they'll remember us when the war's over.
If we switch from financial VIs to military gear, we'll lose millions.
Who cares about the money? Haven't you heard the news from Paladin?
That's what your army is for. Nothing's going to reach the Citadel.
We need to start manufacturing military tech. Nobody will need banking software if these Reapers win.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't want to be unreasonable about it. The biggest problem that I've always had is every time I stay quiet, it just feels like it's not my stream anymore. And I don't know a better way to do it other than to just say outright when I'm unhappy about stuff. So I appreciate you guys, you know, being adults about it, but the best thing, like, I always feel bad when people say that they don't know where they stand on this sort of stuff. The best I can really just say is that to me it's always been the one thing that's always kind of wrecked something for me, and that is when someone is telling me what to do or what to think. And you know, it may be that, you know, I'm just wired differently and it comes up differently, but that's really the best guidance that I can give along those lines.
I've seen Paladin burning. Those fires aren't
So
going
anyways, I'll move on beyond it, but
If you can help.
I really, I was hitting my limit, so I needed to get that out.
Okay, let me think. We could repurpose the VIs for upgraded targeting solutions.
Right. We'd be able to use most of the hardware. The financial VI has more processing power than we need.
No, that works. We'll rig the VI and it translates for all standard weapons. Refit weapons without having to overhaul your targeting computer. Rapid response flexibility. We'll make a fortune.
A small fortune. We're selling these at cost plus 3%.
Fine.
I'm curious too. I mean, this seems a little early for those kinds of transformations, but I do like the little.
I can do this anymore.
I know what you mean. I thought our training prepared us for everything, but this...
Every time that Asari commando sees me, she just starts screaming. I can even hear it when I'm trying to sleep now. I'm supposed to be helping her, but I feel like I'm breaking her world all over again every time she sees me.
It's not your fault. Any human would probably trigger that reaction for her at this point.
No. I looked up the file on that colony she was at. That girl she keeps talking about? We look alike. I shouldn't even be allowed in to help anymore.
One of the things I sort of like, and I'm wondering if this will be repeated a few times through some of the background dialogue, is the sort of the shift from sort of self-interest and selfish actions to something a little bit more publicly minded. So, the businessmen talking about modifying their VIs and such. Like I said, it's a little early in the game for everybody to suddenly have the, find religion, but it interests me, to say the least.
Still working? One call leads to another, and here I was hoping I'd have time to enjoy the view. The last time I saw the Presidium, remember how it was all rubble after Sovereign attacked?
I barely got to see the Presidium before half of it got crushed.
And by the time they repaired it, it was time for the next invasion. Citadel hasn't seen the reality of this war yet. We should stock up on necessities while we can.
Such as?
EZO, heavy arms, mercenary groups.
We'll get the people. Take a moment for yourself now and then.
I know. But there's always just one more task or meeting. Speaking of which, talk to the Volus, Barlavan. He'll point you to some mercenaries willing to join us.
Pretty sure we've run into Barlavan before. I'm just trying to remember where.
Hello, Shepard.
I'm pretty sure it's in number 2.
We've got to keep Jake in daycare. We should be socializing with other children.
I thought it said amusing couple.
We can't spend our lives waiting for that.
We're in the middle of a war, and I'm just supposed to send him away every morning?
We've got to keep Jake in daycare.
I remember you two. Michael and Rebecca, right? Listen. Do whatever is best for your family. Just do it soon. Things are bad out there.
We will.
And thank you.
It's what the game is really about, helping people with their minor problems. But it's a touch that I like because I think it's a little reinforcement as to what you're trying to save or what you're trying to preserve.
Hey, Commander, check it out. Big news! The Blasto movie is breaking opening week records. There's also a big expose on Quasar tournaments, tips on how to make your apartment look bigger, and, oh yeah, a big-ass Reaper invasion. These people have no idea.
When big events shake up the galaxy, people cling to what's familiar.
You say that like it's a good thing.
It's better than riots in the streets.
I guess. I just wish there were a middle ground. You know, a little less gardening advice, a little more war prep.
It'll happen. Once there's something people can do to help.
Meanwhile, they ignore the unshackled AI walking around the Presidium.
She run into any trouble?
No, she's my mobility assistance mech. Thanks to Vrolic syndrome, I'm legally entitled to bring her everywhere. Finally getting some use out of those disability benefits.
I'm sure she appreciates getting out to see the sights.
She's earned a little shore leave.
Welcome to the Citadel gift shop. All proceeds from today's purchases go toward the Turian war effort.
Welcome to Casa Fabrication Weapon.
Oh God. I'm really bad at this stuff.
For the best in the business, come to Casa.
I gotta decide which armor I want.
Proceeds from all purchases go to help our men and
Casa
women
Fabrication
serving in the
Weaponry hasn't
Alliance.
forgotten Earth. Neither should you.
Hello, Shepard. You look like you're gathering data.
That is a safe assumption.
Anything big and world-shaking? Man's inhumanity to man? Does objective reality really exist? That kind of thing?
I was running scenarios in my head to analyze Jeff's behavior. I believe he has a strong affectionate attachment to me, but he has not stated it to anyone yet. When you are sexually interested in another, what kind of advances do you make?
This is one where chat should actually, yeah, so here's one for those of you who want to participate in chat. When you are sexually interested in another, what kind of advances do you make?
You know, there are the intimate talks, thoughtful gifts, joking around.
Jeff does often try to lighten the mood with humor. That could indicate a 33.3 repeating % chance that he cares for me. But that is insufficient data for determining his motives. Perhaps we could discuss how to provoke Jeff into an emotional commitment.
That's not how to think of it. It's gotta be natural. You need chemistry.
I see. There are a number of pharmaceuticals I could inject to simulate the desired emotion.
No, I mean relax and do something you both like. Something simple. For example, you both like humor.
Correct. I will see if there are comedic entertainment shows being presented on the Citadel. Scanning. Do you think he would like The Man Who Hung Himself? It appears to be about an amorous plastic surgeon.
Oh, Jesus.
Edie, the important thing is to have a good time, wherever you go. And if you're having fun, he probably will too.
Then the outcome is an unknown quantity. But you are saying I should attempt it anyway.
Nobody ever fell in love without being a little bit brave.
I see. I believe you have improved my chances, Shepard. Thank you.
You're all breaking my heart. No, it's a tricky one, right? I mean, it's probably way more. Yeah, that's just it. Like, you know, for all my green eyes and sexual charisma and whatnot, the funny thing for me is that
Citadel gift shop. All proceeds from today's purchases go toward the Turian war effort.
Oh, that's a lovely idea.
Well, we all need to do our part. Have you seen the bids about Paladin?
I know, it's amazing. Can you imagine something like that happening here?
It did!
The Turians will take care of things before we have to worry about that. Would you like to make a purchase?
Yes. Welcome to Nosastra Sporting Goods.
But yeah, you know, I think everybody's kind of got their own journey towards that. The worst thing is someone actually asked, you know, how do you get a girlfriend? It's like, well, it's kind of like the how did you wind up working in movies question. It's like everyone sort of has their own path, and you know, it's probably a little bit more than just a series of instructions. But I didn't realize that was gonna that was gonna spawn all of those responses. Right now, your go-to is want to see where I had surgery. Are you also the amorous surgeon who performed? Man, they really want to keep throwing dialogue at me. I thought opening the store would let me chat. I don't know. I'm definitely liking the Edie becomes human subplot. The Amazon thing is still not done, and every time people talk about refunds, it makes me so frustrated. This is actually something I think I would want because of the weapon and headshot damage.
We appreciate your visit.
Without a sales record of some kind.
Look, he is not gonna leave. The sooner you refund him, the sooner you go home.
Yeah, you're right. Let's get this over with.
Welcome to Agor Munitions.
Remember, all purchases made by Agor Munitions will show in your credit report as AM Trading Limited.
Yes, congratulations. The whole 15 credits.
Oh, wow.
Hey, thanks.
This is problematic. We must find a way to stabilize the heating unit so the water temperature can remain steady. The colony's location is hardly ideal for our species. The floods will be imperiled if we do not act soon. Of course, I will do everything I can do to help. We are family. The extreme weather conditions may require technology that is not readily available on the market.
This is also kind of interesting because this feels just so much bigger than all the other places that I've been at. I know, like, I thought I was just going to casually talk to a few of the bodies out here, but I've got a whole other level up. I mean, it could be that there's just one room up the stairs, but I did finally find Gnarl, at least.
Quick, hands behind your back. We'll be here any minute.
What the hell are you talking about?
Crete, Blood Pack's leader. Arya brings him the great Commander Shepard. Crete pledges the gang to her. We're just luring him into the open so we can take him out.
Not the best start to our friendship, Gnarl.
He's coming. Put your hands behind your back and try to look like I beat you up or something.
This better be on the up and up.
Quiet.
Arya to look even more powerful than Crete thought. Her instructions on boarding Citadel undetected were one thing. Now this. Commander Shepard, want you to know, your head will be hood ornament on my personal shuttle.
Keep your distance, Crete. So, do you agree to Arya's terms?
Most definitely. Arya can use Blood Pack as she sees fit.
Wasn't talking to you, Crete. Grill?
What? You have my word. Now open fire!
Not him. Grill's next in line to take over. Arya's deal is with him.
Yes. Yes. I'm Arya's mole, Shepard. You've scratched my back. Now I'll scratch yours.
Word of advice, don't double-cross Arya.
I may be ambitious, but I'm not crazy.
Uh-huh. Good work, Gnarl. Thanks for the gun.
Anytime, Shepard. Grill and I will let Arya know the light is green.
So this is not necessarily a bad example of some of the stuff I was talking about. So up to this point, in fact, I would go so far as to say for the entire series, the decision to pull the trigger has always been mine. It might be a QuickTime event that comes up. Most of the time it's through sort of the cover-based shooter. But, and again, I might be speaking in too many absolute terms. It might be that there's a couple of other instances where I fire off. But like, there's a side of me that says like, well, you know, why wasn't I allowed to decide whether or not to shoot? Like, at what point am I allowed to play the game? And I don't know if it's maybe just because I've got some distance between me and Mass Effect 2, or if it's because I'm in the early parts of Mass Effect 3. But I'm kind of getting the impression for this game that I'm spending a little bit more time not being in charge. And I if I wasn't enjoying the game, I would just stop playing it. But I'm definitely like, so my original feeling that, you know, people saying that they weren't into number 3, I originally thought that was largely driven by the the fact that people were really mad about the ending, or that it didn't, live up to expectations or whatever. Like, basically, it's one of these things that once a certain critical mass had hit of people being upset with it, it was just fashionable to say that you didn't care for number 3. But I am somewhat more sympathetic to the view just because at the moment I felt that I'm a bit more of a passive observer than I have in the previous entries.
Tell me you have found my son.
Not yet.
My apologies. Thank you.
Anyways, I'm going to take one more minute at the Spectre terminal, and I think I have earned myself a real mission.
Shepard, to what do I owe the pleasure?
Here to talk to you about releasing Jonas Sedaris.
No, I don't get an option.
Damn, you too? Somebody got the council to order her release. I'm delaying as best I can. What's your stake in this?
It's classified.
That's a fancy way of saying mind your own business. Look, there's no way I'm letting that psychopath out. The woman's unstable and a clear public threat.
What makes you think she's crazy?
She was a ruthless sadist before she got caught. Her imprisonment has cracked the shell off the nut.
Maybe freedom will improve her.
She rages day and night, Shepard, calling for the deaths of all Eclipse enemies. No, freedom will only give her the chance to kill.
I'd like access to her to judge for myself.
Sure thing. I'm sure you'll agree. Then maybe the council will listen to you and rescind the order. Go to the C-Sec outpost. My assistant will connect to Sedaris' cell from there. Then call me back.
So one of the things I'm a little cautious on, I mean, and to a certain extent, whenever I play a game, I sometimes wonder whether or not they bother to go into this detail, but I don't necessarily want to just immediately override Bailey because he's someone, particularly with regards to coordinating a defense of the Citadel. He's not necessarily somebody who I just want to override. I hate to admit, I've actually forgot what Bailey... I know he just told me. I forgot what Bailey told me to do.
Shepard?
Nothing new.
I should go.
I'll be here.
I haven't taken a look out here, though. All right, seems to be in order. All right.
Let me know when you've had a chance to talk to Sedaris.
Hello, dear. Perhaps you can help me. I'm looking for my son.
But we spoke about this already. I told you about his mission and...
Nonsense. I just filled out the paperwork. He's very punctual when he's on the field. He checks in every week. Only...
If you'd like, Prudzy Resmont.
checked in for a while now. A month. Anyway, I'd like to file an expedited contact request.
Yes, of course, ma'am. But the notes on his file state he's not under a contact ban.
Oh, you already looked. How kind of you. I'm just so worried. It's not like him to go quiet.
As soon as I get news, ma'am, I'll let you know as soon as I get news.
Thank you. You're such a nice young woman. You know, you remind me of my daughter-in-law.
According to the Council, these galaxy-wide attacks are part of a massive and organized invasion plan. The Council called the invaders...
Yes, this squad did
All right, I'm just take a quick look in the journal and see if there's something... Oh my god, there's so many. Okay, Blue Suns. Ara Talank has requested assistance uniting mercenary bands under control. Speak to Darner Vosk in the Citadel refugee camp and gain the allegiance of the Blue Sun. Eclipse. Ara Talank has requested assistance uniting mercenary bands under her control. Speak with Commander Bailey's assistant. Presidium Condiments. Okay. Wait, C-Sec Station? We're here. I should double check one more time. Biotic app interfaces, and Asari on the Citadel is looking for improved biotic interfaces. Find schematics and bring them to her at the Huerta Memorial Hospital. heating unit stabilizers. A Solarian on the Citadel needs new heating unit stabilizers. Find them and bring them to him in the Presidium Commons. Irun, Book of Plenix. Avolis on the Citadel needs the Book of Plenix to inspire his people. Recover it from Irun and return it to him in the Presidium Commons. Ismar Frontier, prototype components. A scientist is searching for missing prototypes for a biotic amplification system. Search the Ismar Frontier for the components and return them to the scientist on the Citadel. Yeah, I know I talked to Bailey about it. It's the follow-up that he told me that I forgot basically as soon as he told me. So I was under the impression that his assistant would be here, but I did just do sort of a patrol, and I don't seem to have run into his assistant. So either I've misclassified the commons, or I need to like leave and come back to find him. I don't necessarily mind, like if it comes down to it, I don't mind leaving and coming back and then just dealing with these subplots next time I visit the Citadel, because I'll be honest, it has been a while since I've done a more traditional mission. It's just I always feel like a moron whenever I'm told something very explicitly, but because I'm like either checking that's it. All right. If I can find him quickly, I'll do it. I think what I'll do is I'll take a look in the upstairs area.
I don't know. A text message is so impersonal. He's off risking his life. He deserves more than that. I could record something, but I hate leaving vid messages. I always get flustered.
Maybe you need a script.
Or maybe I need to get him on a vid call so I can do it face to face.
Who knows when he'll be deployed somewhere with an open comm channel. He knew it'd be hard to communicate when he left you here.
I guess this is a way of doing side missions. You just have a bunch of like closed doors that when you unlock the path, you're able to. So yeah, what I'll do is next time I visit the Citadel, I'll spend some quality time. Like one of the reasons I'm doing it this way is that I suspect I'm going to have some opportunities to pick up a few of these items that I'm looking for elsewhere. So surely Bailey's assistant is somewhere out there, but if I'm coming back with a whole bunch of the stuff that I was supposed to pick up on my adventures, it just means that I can minimize the number of trips to that. I can minimize the number of trips to those areas. Plus, the other thing is that I kind of wanted the Bailey encounter to be the last one. There's no point in.
Yes, we can. Tell your friends to move their ship out of the docking bay.
Wait, please.
Sure you can't squeeze in a few more people, officer?
And who the heck are you?
Oh, Commander Shepard.
If that's what you think, I'll find them some room.
So
my family can dock?
Commander Shepard says your family's cleared. Just tell them to hurry.
This.
Thank you, Commander. Thank you so much.
This would be aggressively terrible game design if they actually did this, but I really love the idea of you walking around being a do-gooder, actually really snarling up the otherwise well-running bureaucracy of the Citadel, and that every time you do something like this, it actually winds up making things, like, worse. Like I said, that would be a terrible choice, and people would be understandably frustrated by it, but I don't know, there's a side of me that just really likes this idea of, you know, I mean, I suppose there's some people who don't have my temperament, but I kind of think that people are inclined to be nice or like do the nice, do the good thing.
Christophe Vassar, good to meet you. How long have you been here?
I don't know. I'm not in
I don't know how long it was since I escaped Lyon. Do you know Lyon?
No.
I think I have at least one of them, Prodzui, but because I bought, I think, the base version of the game, but because I have EA Play Pro, it may even just be that you get this with EA Play, but pretty much by default now, anything that I have in my Origin library, I just kind of hit the upgrade button. So I don't have a clear idea of some of the DLC that I have anymore. I basically loaded up on all the free stuff I could get.
I recovered your pillars of strength from the kite's nest. They're yours, waiting in Bay D-24.
Thank you. Right now, my people need any reminder of their faith they can get.
But yeah, the best answer that I've got for some of this stuff is just if it's present in the like the deluxe edition that you'd get from the ammo capacity is tempting, the melee damage less so, but I should probably get an idea about what my armor options are before I commit to one. But yeah, to answer, I know a lot of people ask the DLC questions, but it's fair to say anything that I get for free through the subscription, I'll bring on. But I'm also getting the impression that apparently you don't necessarily get access to all the DLC through the subscription service. I'm not 100% sure why, to be honest, because one of the things I like about EA Play, formerly EA Origin and EA Origin Premier, I guess EA Origin is the service, so, but now known as EA Play Plus or Pro. It gets past the whole like, do I want to get like DLC A or C, or like am I gonna spring for the deluxe edition or that? Battlefield didn't have any DLC. If I liked The Division, I actually quite like The Division 2, but like it's really the only Ubisoft game that I play somewhat consistently. Like if there were more like that, I would maybe consider the Uplay Plus. And it's one of these things where like you get past the idea of sort of quote unquote owning your game. Like I think the thing is that for me, I don't really find it a point of pride that I've got hundreds of games in my Steam library that it's quite likely some of them I will never play. To me, that seems like a waste. And I don't really feel any particular sense of ownership over them because I kind of know that in the end they're a bunch of licenses. And so I'm quite happy with the stream of games that I get from that service. Although I'll admit, like especially because EA Play is part of Game Pass now, like that's a really Microsoft's got a really attractive product. I'm actually quite happy for something like that because I'm no longer like playing this game of like at what dollar value do I figure, like do I maximize my utility? Like the game ceases to be the game of chicken I'm playing with the developer in terms of the price at which I buy it. It's more which of these things is interesting enough for me to sort of sit down and play it, and I sort of know that I'll have the best version of whatever I'm playing at the moment. So I'll admit I'm a little unsure about how companies make money doing this. But while they're figuring that out, I'm certainly enjoying quite the consumer surplus. So I think Legion was in number 2.
Arya wasn't kidding. The great Commander Shepard on a leash.
I'm here for my own reasons, Vosk.
Oh, sure you are. Anyway, tell her I'm impressed, but to do business, I still need my little problem taken care of.
Which is?
A Turian general named Oraka has it out for the Blue Suns. He's raising a stink over our activity in this sector. I'll commit my gang to Arya as soon as Oraka's dead.
There must be more to Oraka's complaint.
We're just making little raids along trading routes. With Arya's blessing, I might add. Oraka's just some military fossil who came out of retirement to relive the glory days and justify his existence. Losing him won't affect your war in the least, but gaining the Blue Suns, well, you know our work.
You seriously think I'll assassinate a Turian general?
Arya seems to think so. Or else, why would she send you? She knew the price. The two of you work it out.
Yeah, I don't care if I...
Tell Arya I still expect her blue ass in bed with me.
I am not killing for these guys.
What is it, Shepard? You knew about this?
Can you be more specific?
Darner Vosk expects me to kill General Oraka.
Who cares what Voss wants? What he needs is for Araka to stop disrupting his operations. I figured you'd talk to Araka, see if you can get him to lay off. And if he won't listen to reason, call me, and I'll take care of it.
No need to candy coat it, Arya.
Ah, Shepard, you think you know me so well.
I just don't see why you couldn't tell me the details yourself.
Vosk needed to see you, needed to realize who he's dealing with. Plus, if I have to suffer that scumbag staring at my tits one more time, I might have to kill him.
Yeah, he mentioned that,
That I'm going to sleep with him? We all have our delusions.
Let's check on those Metagel supplies. Yes, sir. And have we heard anything from the hospital? The surgeons there are all busy. Keep on it. Some of these wounded don't have much time. Shepard,
what's happening?
we convinced the Council to accept our wounded. Nowhere else to go.
How bad is it?
More dead than injured. 85% killed in action. We'll need a morgue soon. Not a lot of flesh wounds when you're fighting Reapers.
Casualties are that high?
Our frontline units are being wiped out, whole platoons at a time. A single Reaper can destroy 9 or 10 of them in one attack.
That's not war. It's slaughter.
They're called Reapers for a reason. And these guys found out why.
Do what you can for them.
A few of them might get back on their feet, but the rest... Sympathy is about all we can offer.
Any sign of your family?
Not yet, but I keep hoping. What about you? I'm starting to see some wear and tear.
I won't lie. It's been rough.
Well, don't forget to come up for air. There's a lot more war to go.
You are looking at VI Model 1.7 AGB, Commander Shepard. Please see a store clerk to unlock a demo of this model.
Wait a minute.
You are looking at VI Model 1.7 AGB, Commander Shepard. Please see a store clerk to unlock a demo of this model.
So I didn't realize that was me.
You have a copy of a Shepard VI.
Oh yeah, the one based on that war hero? We locked it after some kid spilled soda over the hardware. I'll unlock it, but we've only got the demo version working.
Good to meet you. I'm Commander Shepard, Alliance Navy. Extranet says you're Alliance military. Take care of yourself out there, officer. There's nothing this galaxy can't beat if we all work together. Except the Reapers. Ever see the size of one of those things?
God damn it.
My personality matrix can predict what the real Commander Shepard would say with 7% accuracy.
Okay, that's actually really fun. I don't know how many of you guys know some of this like machine learning or some of these AI applications, but I have actually been in presentations where people are like, yeah, and we got, it's like it was able to predict it 3% of the time. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
I come pre-installed with an SSV Normandy flight sim. Got any pets? You look like a Varen person. Always nice to see you. Hey again.
We just got...
Anyone ever tell you you're one hell of a looker, soldier?
How many on board?
Stop poking me!
Stranger.
That's all.
I don't really sound like that, do I? Extranet says you're Alliance
There's
military.
some room for them.
Take care of yourself out there,
This is
officer.
going to be home for a while.
Anyways, one thing I should apologize for, as much I do enjoy the the world, I do enjoy some of the side missions in that. I was kind of expecting to do more missions than what I've done so far. I kind of feel like they just unlocked a whole lot of locations on me all at once. So I actually thought I was on my way back to the docking bay. I'm still going to go...
Val, Olun's doing some heavy lobbying for the Hanar to support the war effort.
So he's clearly not indoctrinated. Who's opposing him?
An unnamed Hanar recently posted here from Kajay. I'll check transit records for incoming Hanar.
Good idea. There shouldn't be many new arrivals. They're a mildly xenophobic species.
Xenophobic?
I could use a more polite term if you prefer. Private? Reclusive?
Just a bit more blunt than I expected.
I did say mildly.
Yeah, anyway, it's a tricky one from a stream point of view, right? Because part of this is, you know, sharing the game and enjoying it with everyone. I am sometimes a little self-conscious, though, of how very indulgent some of these streams can become. There is a reasonable question to be said, like, if I just want to wander around and experience a video game world, do I necessarily need to broadcast that experience? But, you know, there's always the other side saying it's like, well, you can also get a really good indication as to whether or not people are interested in seeing you do that. So if we can't get a lot of missions done this time around, I will be sure to be a little more disciplined on Friday. So I'm curious if they're going to talk.
For boarding pretty soon. I should.
I know.
Listen, I've heard ads for a place called Sanctuary. It's supposed to be a safe haven from the war. I want you and the girls to go.
What?
I don't want to worry about you, okay?
Okay. I'll see if I can get along.
I'll send a message for Neri's birthday.
I thought you were supposed to avoid sending messages.
It's a stupid rule anyway.
And we'll see him the moment he gives away the position. And I never noticed that the Normandy was outside that. That's a nice little touch. I mean, it is the docking bay, but I really thought there would have been a terminal for me to check out here. But that's fine. But yeah, like I said, if I can't get that much in terms of missions done tonight, I will try and make sure that I'm a little more disciplined for Friday or whenever I play this next, although I am somewhat more inclined to play this on Friday than anything else. Although Rebel Galaxy Outlaw is a really good game and I'd like to play more of it.
Commander, are you alright? It was fairly intense up here. I can only imagine what it was like down on that moon.
I thought you'd be more concerned about Edie.
Edie is a huge asset to this team. If she'd told me about her plan to obtain a body, I'd have volunteered to help.
I did not wish to force a conflict of interest between our friendship and your duty.
I'd have preferred a conflict of interest to a hard restart of half our systems. But thanks, regardless. While you're here, though, I found something while scanning Alliance channels. Grissom Academy is requesting help. The Reaper invasion front will hit them soon.
I thought the war would close most schools.
Grissom Academy is more specialized than a normal school. It's home to some of the smartest students humanity has to offer. Their Ascension project is the best training facility in the galaxy for human biotics. It's not an average school. They might even be doing work for the Alliance.
What can we do?
A Turian evac transport responded to their distress call, so normally I'd say we don't need to do anything. But something sounded off in the Turian signal. I had Edie perform an analysis. It's fake. Edie thinks it's Cerberus. She said the fake Turian signal was similar to the one that lured you to a collector ship?
Long story.
In any event, whoever faked the signal wants us to think Grissom Academy's being evacuated. But I believe they're still in danger.
That's a really interesting touch. So I think the implication out of this is that the Elusive Man has been working with the Reapers much longer than we suspected, and that I was effectively assassinated by him.
Maybe you belong here after all.
If this really is Cerberus, hopefully this operation is something worth investigating. It could be simple disinformation.
Trainer, good catch.
Thank you, Commander.
Okay. So I'm just going to take a quick second here to make sure. All right, so there are a couple of new locations. I I'm going to focus on saving the younglings. One of the things I'm trying to do here is avoid doing the... I'm trying to avoid doing the priority missions in the idle hope that it stops me from... it stops me from kind of winding up with too many extra side missions. It's kind of just my way of systematically going through what's on offer. I'm guessing that there's nothing here for me, but I kind of want to be sure. This may have consequences later, but yeah, if it says priority, it's kind of a guarantee for it being the last thing for me to do if there's other things on the board. The stated mission of the John Grissom Academy, commissioned in 2176, is to serve a student population demonstrating excellence and passion for math, science, and the liberal arts. Its entirely human student body ranges in age from the early teens to the mid-20s. Although the fact is not heavily advertised, the institution also offers classes for students with biotic capability. The school's Ascension project seeks to train these students and integrate them into normal society. Ooh, this is an interesting question. Who do I want to bring along? So, Liara. And I suppose the question is, do I want to bring Edie or do I want to bring Garrus? So Garrus already has a sniper rifle. Javik is also attempting one. I think I'm going to take Edie this time. I'd kind of like to see what she's made out of. And I think I'm just going to stick with the... Oh, hang on. I think I'm going to stick with the Mantis this time. All right. And you know what? I will invest in the disruptor ammo because I quite like it. So health damage by 5%, shield and barrier damage by 20, or odds of stunning a target. No. More damage. I don't think... Oh no, there is one. I could get the sticky grenade, but honestly I just picked that up so I could... I had the option in my menu. Oh god. Okay, let's deal with Liara first. So I'm kind of inclined towards waiting to boost Singularity. Yeah, I think I'm going to hold out on that. So Edie, she's got Incinerate, Overload, Defense Matrix. Okay, so first things first, let's just unlock one of everything. And then I can decide where I want to go with the rest. I'm almost never going to use Decoy, so that's a... I think I'm going to go up to level... Actually, you know what? I might just go up to level 3 on everything like I did with the others. And then I can pick the specializations after that. That didn't leave me a whole lot. Additional target within 8 meters or increased damage. I definitely want... So given the fact that I tend to use my allies as... like they're really for my AoE, I tend to like... I don't mind... Like, so for me, I want to focus on the damage because I just generally like being able to kill stuff with one hit. And because I have that very narrow focus, I try to make my allies a little bit more effective in terms of area of effect. So damage by 30 and similar idea, impact radius. It's not like a strict rule, but it's one that I've tended to run through.
The distress call. Cerberus cruiser. At least a dozen fighters on blockade duty. Not too many for us in a straight-up fight. They must want this place bad.
Also, I know I picked up an armor mod. I don't think I had a chance to equip it.
Let's hear it.
Or I had the chance and I didn't take it.
Kaylee Sanders, director of Grissom Academy. We need immediate assistance. Cerberus is attacking the facility. They're after my students.
This is Commander Shepard. We're blocked on a direct approach.
I know. They've taken control of our docking base.
Any alternatives?
There's an auxiliary cargo port I could probably open.
All right, we'll come in by shuttle and get your students out of there. Joker, can you give me a diversion?
Oh boy, can I? Come and get me.
Keep the shuttle in position. We'll be back.
Commander, I'm locked in a server room around the corner. Cerberus troops are trying to get in.
So the idea is if I can get my sniper, if I can use my sniper rifle, I can, I have enough time to... Wait, that didn't... Okay, fair enough. The pistol is something that I'll use kind of in an emergency. If I can use the sniper rifle, chances are I have time to draw it. That's not always true, but
Sanders,
it's
we're
usually
clear.
how I
It's
behave.
me.
Commander, thank you. Admiral Anderson always said you were the best. And with Cerberus coming for my students, I need the best.
How many of you are there?
Fewer than 20. Most were sent home when word of the Reaper invasion spread. But a few volunteered to stay. Some are prototyping tech for the Alliance. Others are biotics. They've been training for military operations, working together as biotic artillery.
You said something about Admiral Anderson.
Yes, we met, God, what's it been? 20 years ago when he was a Spectre candidate. I was there when Saren betrayed him. David saved my life that day. He's a good man.
He was on Earth when the Reapers hit. He stayed behind when I got off-world.
I hadn't heard. We've been cut off from most news. He's alive?
Alive and fighting. He's currently leading the resistance movement.
Good. If we get out of here... Well, just tell him to stay alive.
A few months knocking over practice dummies can't prepare your students for war.
Agreed, but the Alliance needs every resource it can get. And our students are unique resources. They wanted to help. How could we say no with the entire galaxy falling apart? Hang on. I've been trying to get communications working.
This is Froberg. There are students trapped in Orion Hall. Cerberus has us boxed in. They're closing fast.
Damn it.
Orion Hall?
Back out the door and down the hallway. I can get the door open.
I'll bring them back here and we'll make a run for the shuttle.
Thank you, Commander. I'll stay put. With luck, I can regain control of some of our systems. I'll get the door for you. It leads to Orion Hall.
Oh man, this is a little bit like watching the collectors take people away.
may be more nearby. Play dead until it's safe, then get to Kaylee Sanders at security.
Okay, but my sister Sean is out here somewhere too.
It sounds like Michael Caine. Again, another nice touch where they create a sense of much larger space. I mean, I may wind up going through here, but they create a sense of a much larger space just by including the implication that there are doors that can be opened. I think I'm going the wrong way. Yeah, we already saw it. Huh. Alright, maybe I am supposed to be going in there. I didn't think the level would be that hard to navigate. Alright, well clearly I'm too stupid for this. I could have used the V ahead of time. I'm sure there's just a doorway that I've... No, okay, well... It is where I thought. It just doesn't seem that there's an obvious... Oh no, okay, I get it. The windows shot through. That's on me. Tactical analysis review, student ID 275668. Unshielded opponent approached at 2 o'clock. Shielded opponent approaching at 12 o'clock, both holding heavy pistols. Most effective way to take them down? You chose Shockwave. Correct answer, Singularity followed by Warp. Instructor comments, Shockwave inadequate against shielded enemy. Your barrier would hold long enough against heavy pistols for Singularity to catch both. Warp on the unstable biotic field created by the Singularity results in an explosion, neutralizing both enemies. I wonder if that's intended for me, the player. Instructor's logs. The kids are getting better at this shit, but I'm worried. I don't think they've got enough time to pull this off, and there's just no way they could really survive out there without way more training. Not without any field experience at all. Doing my best to get them ready. Don't think I'd ever care this much. But I won't let anyone hurt them. They're my kids. Mine. So yeah, obviously that door is more than just that door is more than just decoration. But unfortunately, I'm so used to having so many windows that I can't go through that I didn't even think to see kind of find the evidence of the broken glass. So. Aren't you dead? Apparently, I cannot hit anything. I've been unlocked the M22 Eviscerator. I think we will continue. Although I should have hit change loadout just to see if I could put on that armor piece. Yeah, I didn't want to highlight it too much. I did mention when I started that I felt the... I don't want to make too much of a big deal about it because there's a certain, I don't mind talking about my experience of the game. I do, shotgun, submachine gun. No, okay, so armor is something different. There's a point between talking about my experiences of the game and just being like nitpicky and awful about it.
Goddess, she's bleeding. Shepard, we need to help her. Sean, can you hear me?
How do you know my name?
I saved your brother. He's with Kaylee Sanders at security. Can you get to her?
Yeah. I just need to rest for a minute. Thank you.
I don't really remember the walk animation being so stiff in Mass Effect 2, but it also might be that I have kind of these rose-tinted glasses for that game. And I didn't really want to reinstall it just to find out that it wasn't as good as I remembered. And it's funny, too, because there's actually some animation in this that I think works really well. Like, it tells the story well, or it creates a good sense of humor.
Jack?
Oh, that's a nice reveal.
Shepard.
Oh, that's great.
Everyone get down. This thing's out of your league. Shepard, keep it off us.
So I have my doubts as to whether or not the sniper rifle's really the done thing here. I actually don't know what I'm up against, though. What do you think I'm doing? Alright, so it's on shields. That's what I needed to figure out. Okay, I can't overload it, apparently. And I need to learn cover. I think at this point I'm just going to throw as many things as I can at it. I appreciate Jack really taking charge here and saying that I should be shooting the enemies. I don't know if this is a statement on my current performance or just her...
She was putting out an SOS. I had no idea the Queen of the Girl Scouts would show up. Alright, amp check. Prangley, those fields were weak. Cerberus isn't gonna lie down out of pity like that girl you took to prom. Grab juice and an energy bar. We move in 5. Damn it! How many times did I tell you not to trust Cerberus?
You're not telling me anything I haven't told myself, Jack.
Oh, you feel bad? Well, shit. I bet that's a big comfort to all the people Cerberus has killed.
Jack's personality appears largely unchanged.
Hey, Edie. Nice body. Now you look like a sex bot instead of a sex toy. Okay, right now, all I care about is getting my guys out of here.
Your guys?
Yeah. I guess so.
I can't think of anybody who could care about them more.
Well, I had some free time while you were off playing hero. Alliance brass knew I helped you. They offered me this. And apparently the students responded well to my teaching style.
The psychotic biotic.
I will destroy you! Drink your juice, Rodriguez. You couldn't destroy wet tissue paper.
Cortez to extraction team. The Cerberus cruiser's coming back.
How long have we got?
2 minutes tops, Commander. After that, there's no way we'll get past them.
Get out of here and back to the Normandy. We'll find another way off the station.
Roger that. Good luck, ma'am.
Shepard to Sanders. The students are safe, but the shuttle's a no-go.
Understood. I might know another way off the station, but I need station-wide camera access. Can you disable the Cerberus security override? It's routed through Orion Hall, so it should be nearby.
Could you guys imagine a, like,
How does camera access get us off this station?
We need to reach the Cerberus shuttles. The cruiser won't auto-target friendly ships, which gives us a fighting chance to escape. Get me back the cameras, and I'll find a path to the shuttles that keeps Cerberus from boxing you in.
imagine like a Dead Poet Society style teacher movie starring Jack. I'd pay to see that. High priority target, student ID 12-5D-Prangley. Status, capture priority alpha, bring back alive at all cost. Vital retrieval subject due to high-level biotic abilities paired with high leadership testing scores. Considered prime candidate for indoctrination and high-level enhancements for subsequent long-term infiltration relocation.
Sanders, you should have access now.
Got it. The fastest way is through the atrium, but Cerberus has sealed the doors. You'll need to disable the magnetic locks. The overrides should be directly above the door.
Of course.
Sorry.
You know, one of the funny things too, Proziri, what you're talking about here, like the idea of breaking up combat. Now, I think I heard that apparently you're supposed to be able to give voice commands to people in this, which is a neat touch if you can. One thing I kind of wonder, and again, I don't get to test this stuff, and I'm sure, like, BioWare has kind of been making games for a while, so I figure they've got it well in hand. But I sometimes wonder if you could just simply get away with, if the AI does the power, then the cooldown runs. But you have a different cooldown. So I think one of the reasons why the AI wouldn't use a power is because there's going to be something frustrating by not, wanting to use a power, but then finding out that the AI has already used it, and so you're limited in terms of your options. But I think having two sets of cooldowns, one which is for the AI privately, which, you see them using their powers, but it doesn't affect your ability to use the powers. And then when you activate the power, the cooldown's going. And maybe you even limit the AI's ability to do that. It seems to me that you still have, you retain all of those features that are desirable, so you, the player, are able to command people and do what they need. But it gets past the issue that you're talking about, which is the AI maybe not using the powers as often as they could. I will admit, though, I have the opposite problem, which is I tend not to use the powers very frequently. I'm trying to train myself to be better at doing that. And I actually kind of like that the AI uses it in smart spots. So it may be that it's working as intended, because it's not necessarily an issue I've had myself.
We'll be ready when you need us, Commander.
I can't believe you and our teacher work together. With both of you here, maybe we've got a chance.
By the way, I did try a deepfake project. I've always had the conviction that Asia Kate Dillon would be a great actor for Jack. I also think it would probably. I think it probably would finally let the other shoe drop. I sometimes wonder if this character was originally written to be non-binary, and it was just something that they sort of pulled back in the last minute. Instead, sort of went with the instead went with the name and just sort of let the player fill in the detail. But the drawback is that, so if you don't know who Asia Kate Dillon is, if you've seen Billions, they play sort of a traitor character who's really interesting. And then if you watch the latest John Wick movie, they play the Adjudicator. And very talented actor. And the problem is that all of the source material I had for their close-ups and whatnot was very low quality video. So as soon as I was able to get the facial tracking, I was able to get it so that the face was making the movements that I wanted, but it looked phony as hell, and the lighting was very flat because I was basically dealing with source video that was slightly worse than VHS quality. So still a fun project. I'm gonna try and do it again because it's actually very challenging. So when you look at this, this is very good. This is better than I'm ever going to be able to do, and I'll probably ever see someone I know make in terms of a 3D model in that. But this obviously is not photorealistic, and trying to get a photorealistic face to look somewhat natural on a model like that is really difficult. So
Hey, let me know when we've got a new way off this station. How are the students handling the war? How do you think? They're a bunch of teenagers. Until a few months ago, their biggest concern was getting laid. You don't think they're ready for war? I don't think they have a choice. So all this talk about biotic artillery strikes, it's great in theory. Maybe they'll get it together once they've seen some action.
I never realized her scars before.
They'd be better off as support. Put them in the back ranks, helping with barriers and shit. I don't know. Have you told them that? No. They need me to believe in them. I did pick up a few things listening to your damn speeches. I have to say, Jack, you look good. Yeah, well, maybe some of your attitude rubbed off on me. I never had a family. And these guys... Anyone screws with my students, I will tear them apart. What's so valuable about these students? Biotically, I mean. Well, what's scarier than a pissed-off biotic attacker? A whole bunch of them working together. It's like a biotic artillery strike. Any asshole gets in our way, we rip him to shreds. Doesn't that exhaust them? Yeah, sure. But we've been working on conditioning, improving endurance. Whenever they complain, I tell them about the collector base, throwing husks around, making shockwaves all over the place. Ugh, I kept thinking, damn, let the Solarian handle this. He can talk them to death. Stick close. We'll get you out of here. Good.
I know there was another dialogue option, but I actually kind of need to wrap up the stream relatively soon, so I will try and finish this mission. But I'm definitely paying for being a little more leisurely.
We'll go in first and draw their fire. We'll shadow you from the second level and hit those guys from above. A good strategy.
I am really liking what they've done with Jack here.
Just time your shots and stay safe.
All right, I didn't bust my ass training you so you could die now. Keep low, pick your targets.
Students of Grissom Academy, the station is sealed. The Alliance soldiers cannot save you. All they can do is get you killed. Surrender peacefully and you won't be harmed.
Asshole.
Damn it, they're messaging everyone. Students, switch your Omni tools to privacy mode so they can't track you.
What if they're not lying?
You've already held your own against Cerberus. You've been trained for this by one of the best.
Come on, Rodriguez. They're only asking nicely because you scared them in that last fight. So take your balls out of your purse and kick some ass.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's go!
Does anybody who remembers Mass Effect 2 a little bit better than me remember if they had those scars on the back of her neck? I would have thought that I'd recognize them a little bit easier because of her hair in the previous game, but I genuinely don't remember. Mail slots.
Ready for action?
Hell yeah!
This is also a really great little arena. I quite like the layout of this level. Alright, looks like I missed. Oh crap. I really needed to hit that. Oh god, Jesus. Alright. I don't think I'm going to be able to hit the armor on that. Crap. Jesus Christ. I did not realize there were this many guys here. Somebody is wrecking my day. High priority targets: 12 5-day Prangley, 26 2B Rodriguez. Other subjects are to be retrieved alive if possible. If unavoidable, bring back bodies for use as genetic testing materials. Addendum to original brief. Subject 0 is to be retrieved for further testing and possible conditioning. Current psych profile indicates that holding students hostage likely to be the most successful tactic. Alright. I was talking about how big and open and nice the environment was, but I didn't really respect the fact that this might mean a little bit more than I bargained for. Okay, I gotta stop abandoning cover. Ah, that's what's ruining my day. I think that's enough to take it out. Okay. I think I have a slightly better idea of the position, although we've lost a soldier, so we can bring it back. I've never used this much metagel in a fight. And this isn't on a hard difficulty. Try and get high ground if I can, but I thought I was going to be able to get to higher ground to deal with the. I thought I killed you. to deal with the new guys, but that might have been foolish. Ah, crap.
Everyone okay up there? Rodriguez took one in the arm because she didn't watch her barrier.
Commander, I've reached the Cerberus shuttles without being detected. They know what they're doing, though. You need to hurry.
The writing for Jack has been great on this. In one sense, like, there's the one obvious step, which is to see the progression from Mass Effect 2. But even just her little lines of dialogue, the sort of stuff that you normally wouldn't pay a lot of attention to, it's really well done.
That's an impressive barrier, Octavia. Our file says you've been working on shield technology. Fire!
I'm Commander Shepard with the Alliance. I'm here to help.
I didn't buy it from the last guy, and I've got no reason to buy it now. This is a multi-core shield prototype based on cyclonic barrier tech. It'll hold off your guns for hours.
Sanders, this is Shepard. I've got some scared students hiding behind a shield prototype.
How do we know it isn't just Cerberus rigging the voice?
You could test for distortion peaks, Isaac, like I did when you faked a voice print to break curfew. And if that's Octavia's shield, remind her that I docked her half a grade because application of non-concurrent forces overloaded the emitters.
Thanks, Sanders. You did a great job keeping yourself safe. The biotic students are up there. Stay close. They'll get you out of here.
Okay. Thanks.
See, I think this mission would have been interesting on its own, but the fact that it's tied with Jack has me a lot more invested in it than I thought I was going to be. I'm really enjoying this.
Looks like schematics for AMP interfaces. Not as good as what we already have, but still worth a look.
Also, these environments are really nice. Like, I like the water. I have no idea whether or not that's justified in space, whether or not it takes a whole lot of effort or it's particularly arduous to be able to have these fountains, but I like that the environments look nice in this. God bless you, BioWare. It's not quite as tough as as when I'm fighting one. I just want to do one melee. Okay, that works too. I also did not realize that there were missiles, so this will make life a little easier. I keep thinking Edie is a Cerberus soldier. I mean, the body is, but... I will admit, I do struggle a little bit to see where the bad guys are coming from. Oh. Alright. Maybe now I'll finally be able to do my... Nope. No, I won't. Switch guns halfway through, apparently.
Kaylee, how's it coming?
Shuttles are unlocked.
Take the controls and get the students aboard.
Wait, where the hell's Rodriguez?
She needs covering fire.
She needs more than that.
Joker, we flew out on a Cerberus shuttle. Watch your fire.
Right, I've got you on sensors. Should just be a minute.
Thank you, Commander. We'd have never gotten off that station if you hadn't come.
Forget that. We kicked some ass. Next place we dock, you're all getting inked. My treat. What do you guys want? Ascension Project logo? Glowing fist? Maybe a unicorn for Rodriguez?
Screw you, ma'am. I can't believe we got them out alive. I was going to suggest that they stick to support roles. But perhaps they're ready after all.
Well, they're definitely ready, but the Alliance needs them in a support role.
What? We trained for artillery strikes.
We don't need another artillery unit. We need stronger barriers for our frontline squads.
This is bullshit!
Hey, if that's where they need us, that's where we go. Besides, I'm sure we'll get some shots in.
Commander, we've got a visual on you now. Preparing to dock. Hey, Jack, now that you're military, you gonna wear a uniform, or are you just getting the officer's bars tattooed on?
Screw you, Flight Lieutenant.
What the hell was that?
Jack promised to watch your language in order to maintain the necessary professionalism we need from our teachers.
What, does she have a swear jar or something? Because I bet if we empty that thing, we can afford another cruiser.
Cover your ears, kids. Hey, Joker.
Nice.
Shepard, damned if you aren't a sight for sore eyes.
Good to see you too, sir.
Sir? I may have reinstated you, but that doesn't give you permission to go all formal on me.
Then I'm glad you managed to keep your ass alive, Anderson.
That's more like it. Looks like you didn't waste any time getting to work. I can only imagine what would have happened to those kids if they'd fallen into Cerberus' hands.
They're definitely eager to help.
These students are some of the best humanity has to offer, and we're throwing them into battle. God damn it, I hate this war. Hackett didn't mention in his report...
Kaylee Sanders is safe. She's with the recruits.
Thanks, Shepard. When I heard about the attack, well, I've already lost a lot of friends.
She asked me to tell you to stay alive.
Did she now? Well, thanks, Shepard. That might be the first good news I've heard this week. Anderson out.
And Pradzui, I thought they said that there was more than one shuttle, but I could be wrong on that. So this is normally where I'd like to do a bunch of codices and whatnot, but I am actually a little bit later than I want to be. So I'm going to have to end it here. We crossed over the minimum strength, and we'll do a whole bunch of reading and all of that. But I particularly appreciate you guys hanging around for this stream in particular, because I mean, there was a lot of like story stuff. There was a lot of, there was a lot of like not what you would normally associate with the traditional gameplay for the game. I know that doesn't 100% work for everyone. I also know for some people that's the stuff that they enjoy the most. But one way or the other, I kind of need to acknowledge the fact that there were fewer missions than I wanted to get into at the time. Now, I mean, in the end, kind of the time that we invest in that now is just going to be time that ultimately that's just going to be time that we save as the we get closer to the ending. We mentioned this in the previous episode that it might be a slow start, but it just means that I'm not like pausing the big climax for the the codices and side missions and whatnot. So there is a little bit of a design behind it. But I would love it if you guys would hang out for this raid, because Ponce is online, and Ponce is playing Serious Sam 4, which I didn't realize was out yet. I know there's a demo that's been floating around the streamer circles. I did actually get an offer for it, and I'd actually normally like to try something like that on stream, but I'm a little committed to some of the stuff I'm working on right now. So if you guys don't mind, I would love I'd love for you guys to hang out and and join me for a raid on this good man. One, he's a very good streamer, and then number two, he's playing a game I'm actually really interested in. I think Crow Team does some interesting stuff on its own, but I really want to see kind of the promise that they'd made about the number of enemies they can cram on a screen. I will mention Apocalypse is streaming, Johnny Big Time streaming. Blaster 1's actually doing Doom Eternal as well. So that I think is as much of an indication in terms of what. Oh, and Azure Wind. Lots of good people streaming tonight, but I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of Sir Ponce. So I will be back on. I'll be back on Friday, probably with more Mass Effect, and I hope I get a chance to see you guys. Thank you very much, Panda Player 15. I wasn't feeling 100% about it today, but it means a lot that you said that. And Pradzui, Mad King Brutus, I appreciate you guys being here and being active in chat for the whole time too. I know if I get cranky about some of the stuff that isn't a universal feeling, just because it's one small thing doesn't mean that I'm not happy to have you guys around. I'm actually running out on my counter, so see you guys. Have a lovely evening. We'll see you Friday.